do's and don'ts. Stop talking about freedom. So get going. Lots to be learning, lots to be knowing about people. You gotta reach them, sit right down.
Apparently there's new data on safety, and some medical people think that the vaccines are about to be recalled. Let's listen to this, see what she says.
There wasn't enough information, and it's a lot more coming up now, and especially for young people whose immunity is intact, apparently that's enough.
Okay, so yeah, so I just to make sure. So you think I shouldn't have any more vaccines then?
If you ask me, this would be my advice. But yeah.
Okay, and is that just because you don't think anyone should have a vaccine at a young age, or is that because medically I shouldn't have it because of my head?
Medically. I mean, there is very much, as I said to you, there is a lot of information coming up now which was not available earlier, and very soon all of the vaccines will be completely stopped.
Want to get it off your chest? You're in the right place. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you something about us boobs. We're real and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun, sprinkled with a lot of laughs? Heard in every state in the Union and 770 cities around the world. We just finished our 13th year of broadcast excellence. Now in our 14th year, the Dave Weinbaum Show is streaming live all over the world. I didn't think this isolated phone call to a doctor in England was show-worthy until less than 24 hours later, the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson spoke before Parliament.
From now on, the government is no longer asking people to work from home. And people should now speak to their employers about arrangements for returning to the office. And having looked at the data carefully, the Cabinet concluded that once regulations lapse, the government will no longer mandate the wearing of face masks anywhere. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, from tomorrow we will no longer require face masks in classrooms, and the Department for Education will shortly remove national guidance on their use in communal areas.
Now, that was taken from a show done by me on January 21st. I had knowledge of protests and riots in Europe, Australia, without a word of it being covered by the mainstream media. I predicted that within 3 weeks, the feces would hit the fan. It has. Dems have finally utilized science to end COVID mandates in Dem-run states. Of course, this was political science, not medical, as the medical science contradicted most of the COVID remedies dictated by our government. Curiously, the recently woke blue state governors refused to lift mask mandates on the least vulnerable of all to get COVID, our school children. You know, that Marxist power surge seems hard for them to give up. What caused this? Well, Dems suddenly realized that they were 8.5 months away from the 22 elections. The polls showed that they took Biden's lead and made what was a small hole and dug a moon-sized crater. Not following the Dem governors, Joe has made their political lives dubious, if not terminal. Joe is holding on to power like Trudeau is in Canada against those terrific trucker patriots. Let's face it, the pandemic scam is over. Let's watch how the political war evolves. With our voices heard loud, strong, and unafraid, guided by God. This is not the end. Some 10 to 15 million have been killed. Some by the disease, some accidentally, and many intentional. The feces that hit the fan referred to earlier is closely followed by an astronaut of excrement so large, we're going to need a bigger fan. That's when the accountability bomb drops. Hearings, indictments, Nuremberg trials all over the world. For America's sake, let's hope our rhino-laden GOP doesn't cluck out. Or am I wrong? Hi there, welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. My staff is here, and including my lovely bride, Lisa Ann Weinbaum. Hi, honey.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're looking very nice today.
Oh, thank you. I'm just sitting over here trying to be quiet as to not interrupt.
Well, that's very
monologue.
kind of you.
So
It's
I hope I succeeded.
It's very unusual, and she just asked me.
The day is young.
Seconds before my monologue, she asked me. She says, "You're going to have to tell me if I have egg on my tea." She's eating a hard-boiled egg, right? You know.
Well, not all of us have time to have a luxurious breakfast.
I'm sitting here I'm within seconds of going on the air, you know.
It was a simple question.
And I didn't want to answer it because then I would have had egg on my face.
Have another egg. We can make it happen.
And no, we're not going to do that. And we have our junior producer, Rick Henderson, over here. Hi, Rick.
Hi, Dave. Hello, everyone.
How you doing?
Okay,
good.
thank
Love
you.
the tie. Look at he's the best dressed of all of us. And J.P. Maxwell, the senior producer, who is like, you said 40 years younger?
At least.
Really?
I don't know. I'm 37, so.
Oh, he's lying again. What are you doing?
Change that to 50.
Yeah, gosh.
Okay. All right, well, we're all here. We're all rearing to go. Let me tell you who we got coming up on the show. We got Rabbi Moshe is going to be calling us live from Israel, usurping our usual opening act, which is J.J. Bradshaw. Rabbi Moshe, limited by the hours that dictate when the Sabbath occurs. And in a couple weeks, J.J. will return to his opening spot. Let's see, we have also... we've got Cheryl Chumley coming on at 9:15. We've got Scott Riedel, a candidate in the primaries for the state senate here in Missouri. We've got the author of the book Rules to Defeat Radicals. That would be Chris Adamo coming on. And then we've got special guest Jeff Zink, who was running for Congress in Maricopa County and ran the Arizona audit. Always interesting to find out where that's going to go. Rick wanted to know what's going to happen with all these machines, all these Dominion machines. Are they gone? Are they not? Well, maybe we'll have a little lead into that. Okay, Rick?
Yeah, maybe some voter ID this time.
Yeah, how about that? And right now, while we're waiting for the rabbi, well, maybe we can do some stuff here, such as a bit or a clip. Why don't we play Why don't we play clip 3, please?
Tonight, the masks are finally coming off, finally, even in far-left states like New York and Illinois. But while the mandates are finally coming to an end, there's one weird, bizarre, puzzling exception. In many blue states, children, the ones that have a 0% statistical COVID-19 death rate, that aren't impacted like older people and people with comorbidities, people obese, people with pre-existing conditions, compromised immune systems. Yeah, the least likely people to get seriously ill from COVID, they're still forcing your children to wear masks in school and other public settings. This isn't about science. This is about health. It's not about health or safety either, or the spread of COVID. Democrats, teachers' unions, they are playing politics with the well-being of your children. And the last thing these people want to do is what they keep telling us to do: follow the science.
Okay, we have our first guest on, and I think before he gets upset, we should play his music. Hit it! Oh, look at him! There he is, Rabbi Moshe. We're going to play your song first, if he can find it. There he goes.
Yeah, 1 second, Dave. You were talking to another rabbi? Sounds like you're cheating on me.
No, actually, I'm cheating with you on him because he was the first rabbi. Listen to this. I got rabbis fighting over me. This is kind of weird. I've taken myself out of the picture. What's going on with that? Look at this. He's always usurping me. Ladies and gentlemen, wait a minute. No, I've got Cheryl Chumley's interview looking at me. Ladies and gentlemen, second most powerful in Israel and in his own home, according to his wife Yonit. He travels the world, uniting Christians and Jews. He is the official rabbi to Missouri and the Dave Weinbaum Show. Please welcome, would you quit putting your hand in my face? Please welcome all the way from Efrat, Israel, Rabbi Moshe Rothchild. Yay! Good morning, Rabbi. You are calling from Israel, right?
I am.
Yeah, you know
I'm
what?
Really
You're
happy. I can see you, Dave. That's really cool.
Yeah, and Lisa, Rick, JP. How about that? We're all here.
Wow.
Okay.
And you got a big American flag. I like that.
Yeah, you like that? Cool.
Where's your Israeli flag? Even Pastor Pat has an Israeli flag.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to borrow.
We'll have to get an Israeli flag, for goodness sake. How come you haven't sent one? How come? No, the bigger question is how come you haven't sent one? How long have I known you?
Well, I'll bring you on next time I come.
All right. Well, that's good. America is now getting Ukrainians through its border. Is Israel getting more Ukrainian refugees?
Well, it hasn't been, front and center on the news as much lately. I haven't seen anything like that, but I imagine they're very concerned here because there's a lot of Jews in the Ukraine. And, I know 2 weeks ago they reported they were kind of surprised that we were not getting a lot of Ukrainian refugees here. That was a couple weeks ago. I don't know if things have changed, but there are a lot of Jews in the Ukraine. Like I said, the prime minister is Jewish, actually.
Yeah.
He used to be a comedian, I think.
Yeah, he has to be a comedian to be in that position right now. I'll tell you that much. My goodness. And my family is from Odessa, Russia, Ackerman, and Western Romania.
I've been to the Ukraine, actually.
Or Eastern Romania. Have you?
I was there a couple of years ago. We visited a few Jewish communities there, and some Jewish organizations have rebuilt certain parts of the Ukraine, some Jewish institutions, and looked after the cemeteries. So it was quite interesting.
Now, do you know about Honduras, where they have which has growing ties with Israel, and they elected a few people that aren't crazy about Israel? What's going on with that?
Yeah, we're very concerned. But I was actually I was at the Western Wall a little while ago, and I saw a contingent from Honduras were here. The president of Honduras was here, and we've definitely had very good growing relations with them.
Yeah.
But, things change when elections change or other people get put in power. That's what happened in the United States also. When you go from Obama to Trump and then back to Obama part 2 or whatever you want to call him, Biden. Elections have consequences. But Honduras and a lot of actually Central American countries, we've had Guatemala. We're having good relationships with some of those countries. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So the NSO group, Pegasus, have you heard about this? The spyware?
Yes,
it's been acquired by the FBI. Chris Wray. It invades your phone. Israelis, apparently, the Israeli government used it against Netanyahu.
Yes.
What's going on with that? And why did you export that to us?
First of all, I hope they're not on my phone now. I'm giving away all the state secrets.
Here we are. Second most
basically,
powerful.
Netanyahu has benefited greatly from this breaking story. Yeah. And quite a few of the witnesses that are key witnesses in the trial against Netanyahu, it's been determined that the information that the Israeli police got was because of the Pegasus, this spyware that they could very powerful.
Is that
spyware.
Illegal?
In Israel? It is illegal.
Yeah,
and there's today they're reporting that the new Attorney General in Israel, we have a new Attorney General. They're discussing whether they're going to revisit the whole trial in the first place because the whole case seems to be falling apart. And if the judge is going to exclude quite a few of the key witnesses, it's going to be a real embarrassment to the state to go forward in a trial that they can't win. So it'll be fascinating to see what happens because if the case falls apart, he's going to come back strong. I mean, we had 4 elections that were inconclusive. Like he was 1 or 2 seats away.
Yeah.
But that was because of the indictment. But if this falls away, it's going to be an atomic bomb in Israeli politics.
Does the left there? It seems like they hate Bibi as bad as the left hates Trump here in America. Is it that bad?
It's an exact analogy. I think it's exactly parallel. And they don't like when someone is successful. And Netanyahu, when he was finance minister, he moved the country away from a social welfare state to capitalism, very strong on free enterprise. And, when he was prime minister, there were, the left was demonstrating against him. They wanted to lower the rents and cheap apartments and free this and free that. So they're gonna use the same playbook that you see in the United States. They use the same playbook here. It's exactly the same.
Amazing. Hey, Iran has unveiled a new missile named Nabar Shikan or Nabar Buster. That is a Jewish oasis that was overrun by Muslim warriors in the 7th century. It says they can hit Israel and American targets in the area. So, does that mean the Iran deal is pretty much gone back again?
Well, I mean, is it back in place? Is that what you're asking me? Well, it's not back in place yet, but it looks like it's heading in that direction.
Yeah.
And it's very, very troubling. By the way, sometimes they name their missiles like the Nebuchadnezzar. He's the one who destroyed the Second Temple. They're trying to go back, I think, to their glory days because they can't accomplish anything now. So the last time Iran ever achieved anything, we're talking about 2,500 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's one of the good things in this region is that Israel is the counterweight to Iran, and there's no question that it helps in our relationship with Saudi Arabia and other Arab countries that are fearful of Iran. So,
well, they seem so fixated on Jews generally and Israel in particular. They're just fixated. That's their lives. It sounds like that's it.
Well, it's not Jews. It's any non-Muslim. The United States is the great Satan. Believe me, their dream is an international caliphate under the rule of the 12th Imam, I think it is, and Israel just happens to be their closest neighbor. Believe me, if they thought they had a chance at striking the U.S., they would. Any Western democracy, forget it. They hate them.
Hey, Gaza Palestinians are holding an online campaign against Hamas. 4 hours a day, electricity, bad food, water's bad, and I heard also that you just received a couple of incoming missiles from Gaza. Of course, it was an accident, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was just an accident. But this is actually a first where you have Gazans who are standing up and protesting against Hamas. And that is that's the first time that has happened in any significant way. I mean, we all know that Hamas is a terrorist organization running a terror state that could be a very successful place. When there were Jewish communities there, 8,000 Jews living there, they had a $300 million business going on there, and then Hamas destroyed it. They have beautiful coastline, but they continue to oppress their own people. And I would love to see more Gazans to stand up to Hamas. And believe me, the Western world will stand with them. Well, maybe not Obama and Biden. But,
yeah, well, not all the Western world.
All right. I mean, it happened in Iran where they stood up.
This is where Israel used to have Gaza. They used to run Gaza, didn't they?
That's right. Yeah. Ariel Sharon, who was our prime minister in 2004, 2005. Yeah. We unilaterally withdrew from Gaza. We took over Gaza in the 6-Day War from Egypt.
Yeah.
We offered Gaza back to Egypt.
They didn't want it.
Said, we don't want it. So you guys, good luck.
Yeah,
with
good
that.
luck to you. Right.
You can keep it.
Yeah.
So,
all right. On the British front, British liberal Jews tell the one of the representatives, Smotrich, to go home to Israel because of his right-wing ideas.
Yeah.
And Bibi Netanyahu backs him entirely against the British Jews. What's going on with the Brits? Are they just? Is this just one group, or are most British Jews what just happened? Did you drop something, or did your wife whip you? I get a little shaken when that happens. See, when something like that happens, I get a little worried.
What the?
You heard me. She's got a little whip hidden back there. Oosh. Okay, and I thought you might have that same affliction there.
No.
Back there in Israel. All right. Well, you never know. I just trying to watch out for your good health. So. Okay. So tell us about the British Jewish community.
You have a lot of left-wing Jews in England, like you do in the United States.
Yeah.
That sometimes they act against their own best interests. And Smotrich said to him, "Hey, you guys are like the Jews in Germany before World War II."
They must have loved that.
And they didn't like that very much.
Too bad.
I can say.
All right, but there are some conservative Jews in Britain, aren't there?
What's
Hi,
that?
everybody. When do we get the whole family on the show?
It's 35 minutes before Shabbat, and one of the customs is to actually call your family. So, you know,
Oh.
call my parents, my this and that.
Well,
you
we
know,
must be
so on and so
related
forth.
some way. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, yes, I'll hurry up. Okay. Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find and contribute?
They can go to our website, IsraelAlliance.org, or Facebook.com/Israel Alliance. And
go ahead.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys.
All right, Rabbi, did you hear? What was that? You okay? Was that gas or
I'm
what?
fine.
Okay, I'm sorry. Did you hear about the horse?
How do I look? Do I look good?
You look fine, but there's funny noises coming out. Every time you move the chair, something loud happens. Did you hear about the horse that partied every evening?
The horse that partied every evening.
Yeah.
Nope.
She was a nightmare. A nightmare. Even Lisa got that one. Okay.
Hey.
Not bad.
Oh, okay. Oh, Lisa got that one. I'm so excited.
It's not bad.
Now I got more egg on my face. Okay, Rabbi. Ow, golly.
Dave, you know,
stop that.
you have 3 people looking after you. Is that is that okay?
You know,
It's necessary.
They're looking at me.
It's a full-time job, Rabbi.
Trying to trip me up. You know, giving me whip noises and the whole bit. It's a nightmare. Oh.
All right. Well, JP, I want you to tell your mom.
Yes.
Tell your mom that Dave does not have an Israeli flag up there.
Yeah, I know. It's not good.
We'll have to see if we can get that fixed. Yep.
Yeah, they quarantine those in the United States under the Biden administration, by the way.
Oh, jeez.
So, do you believe that? I don't think so. All right, thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat shalom, my friend. We'll see you soon.
Shabbat shalom.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, the Rabbi, Moshe Rothchild. Okay. And 4 minutes, no, it's like 13 minutes. So we got to do our first. See, this is a packed show. I got one extra interview to do, and it's packed. But I will say this: I got coming up. This is Super Bowl weekend, and by the way, gentlemen, it is the weekend of it should be love and romance, because February 14th is on Monday.
What day is that again?
Valentine's Day, isn't it?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know.
I may have missed that one.
And we got a special sponsor that you got to go to, and that's Kent Jewelry over here on Pine Street. So when you listen to this ad, get your buttresses over here and don't screw it up. Now, I asked Lisa what she wanted for Valentine's Day. I got her some flowers yesterday, and she says, "Oh, flowers will be okay." That is a lie. She was lying to me. Look at her right now. She's laughing her butt off. And you can't rely on them. I thought maybe she'd have an idea, but no, she's going to leave it up to me. Oh, you can get me some more flowers.
If I
bring her flowers, it'll be all over.
I have ideas. I just was trying not to distract you on show prep day.
Hey, Dave.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, Dave, what's a girl's best friend?
Jewelry.
Diamonds.
Diamonds, yeah. Jewelry, I got it generally, right? Okay.
And you can get diamonds from one of our sponsors, actually, so that's fitting.
So let's do our first set of sponsors here. Spend your money with them. I mean, don't spend all your money with one of them. I mean, I need some help in the hamburger.
Let's spread the wealth here a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, spread the wealth. Right, okay. Who's got wealth anymore? I'm losing mine. I don't know about you guys.
I think the Dems have some.
Oh, my goodness. I don't even think
that's another topic for another day, sir.
Well, that's called robbery right there. Hit it.
Honey, what are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
It looks like you're filling up a swimming pool.
Yep, I'm filling up a swimming pool.
In our living room?
How else am I going to watch the game and stay cool?
If your AC is on the fritz, call Hartley's Climate Control. Hartley's is the area's best in HVAC repairs, installs, and maintenance. Knowledgeable, honest, and dependable. Serving Rolla and the surrounding areas for commercial or residential needs. Hartley's Climate Control. Community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Kent's Jewelry does custom engravings for almost anything. Awards, signs, guns, swords, mugs, yetis, and knives. Ken is the premier custom jeweler in mid-Missouri. We have a great staff, the technology, and equipment to create what you dream for, jewelry and engraving. Ken's Jewelry, 907 North Pine, downtown Rolla, 573-364-1030. That's 573-364-1030. Locally owned.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate. At your locally owned Price Chopper, our standards are high because we know yours are. See for yourself what an incredible fresh selection of grocery items we have in store. Talk to our expert meat associates about what you're looking for. They're happy to meet any special requests like custom cuts, or see our expert produce associates on how to pick out the best fruits and vegetables. Quality in the deli means fresh, full flavor, and always delicious. If you're craving fresh baked goodness, we have that too. You can expect the best selection and the best value while interacting with our friendly and knowledgeable employees. You can find what you're looking for fast and easily at the best prices at Price Chopper. Fresh savings every day.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassles. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
At Town & Country Bank, we've got all the perks of a national bank, like online banking, quick loan approval, and you can deposit your check from your phone. But that's not why our customers love us. They love us because we still offer hometown customer service. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly team remind you how special hometown banking can be. We're locally owned and will take the time to understand your needs. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Well, we're back on the show, and we've got coming up next, JJ, whose lovely face is now staring at me. But I'm going to read some of these messages we got first. We've got a bunch of messages, and if you want to message the show, how do they do it?
Go on our show page on Facebook, or you can also go to daveweinbaum.net, comment there. We're monitoring those as well.
Great. All right, we've got you're gonna give me some over here. Beth Cohen, smart patriotic boobs. How dare you call my staff that? Well, I called them that, didn't I?
I've been called a lot worse in my life, so I'll take that one.
Yeah, well, I call everybody a boob here. You got to be a boob to be in this show, don't you? Or to run this show, not necessarily to be on one. Now, look at JG. He's looking for the switch to get off of this thing. Pamela Tanner, good morning, everyone. Coming through loud and clear. That's always great to hear. Thank you, Pamela. Owen McNamee, great friend of the show. Good morning, guys. And Rick is waving at you. Good morning from Rick Camino the monkey. I don't know why he's got a monkey face, but he does. And he's waving, too. and the official pastor to the Dave Weinbaum Show, and the official mother to J.P. Maxwell. Hi, team. Sounding good, looking good. That's Patricia Oden Maxwell.
Hi, Mom.
There you go. I got a nice hi, Mom. And here's Jeff Zink for Congress. Good morning, everyone. Can't wait to come on the show and talk about my testimony before the Arizona Senate. Oh, that should be interesting. That should be interesting. I wonder if it has to do with the audits, and lots of stuff going on in Arizona too. He had a declaration by the Attorney General Vranovich. They call him
I think it's Bronovich, right?
Bronovich, yeah. I think I said the bad word there. I don't know. Anyways, Pamela Tanner. Lots of news is being suppressed. What is going on in Arizona with election decertification filings is huge news, and MSM is silent. Now, decertification filing, I'm not sure what that is. That'll be something to ask. Remind me to ask.
We got to ask Jeff about that.
Yeah, write that down, will you,
Yep.
Rick? Okay, because he's busy right now. Pamela, let's see. Owen McNamee cheering for Biden. He said, "Let's go, Brandon." There I go. I don't think it's exactly a cheer. Pamela Tanner, Epic Times reports law licenses suspended for the McCluskeys. Does anyone know if the vote was unanimous in Missouri Supreme Court? I am so disappointed in our Missouri Supreme Court. So I heard that was going on. That's interesting, though, really. Unbelievable.
What grounds did they suspend it on? That's what I'd like to know.
I think it probably had to do with the gun situation, protecting their own homes. One of the guns may not have been licensed or something. I don't know. I think they mentioned that. But
if I have a mob coming towards my house, I'm not going to take the time to figure out, is this the registered gun or not? Yeah. I'm just going to get it and take action and deal with it later.
Any charges for the people that trespassed at their house?
We
got to get him
I don't
back
believe
on.
So.
We'll try to get him next week, maybe. Anyone else?
No, that's the last one.
All right, Pamela Tanner. Good question, JP. Oh, took one away from you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the man before us, we're going to talk to him right now. Why? Because he's waited so judiciously. He's moved his time. What a nice guy he is. And he's a smart guy, too, because he's 253 years old. And he has all this knowledge and all this wisdom. Usually he wears a big old tinfoil hat. It's huge. But he takes it off for this show. And he looks normal. But he doesn't look like he's 253 years old, though. But he used to pick up women with George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Ben Franklin and at the Ye Old Tavern in Virginia, the only tavern there was in Virginia back then. And he has so much wisdom, and he is going to take a little piece of that wisdom and share it with us today. Please welcome from Rolla, Missouri, John Jeffrey Bradshaw. Rick's waving. Hi there, JJ. What's going on?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm proud to be here.
Proud to have you.
At a different time, but that's all right. Let us take a look at the intro to your show.
Yes.
It says you are called boobs. The fact is, I rather like boobs. If you've seen one, you've seen them both. And as a male, I'm very happy with those. So to be associated with a show that has boobs involved with it, heck yes, I'm in, all in.
And especially when we're real and spectacular like us.
And you guys are spectacular.
Yeah, thank you.
Say I have a note or two about the Biden economy, such as it is. Consumer Price Index just came out, 7.5% inflation over the last year, which is a 40-year high. Well, if you look back at that, those were the Jimmy Carter years. And I lived through those years, as did you. And if you recall, we were seeing interest rates on the order of 12 to 14% for residential loan, which is outrageous. I was unfortunate enough to have to purchase a house under one of those loans, and it wasn't any fun. Now, you might say, well, gee, this is all accidental. No, it's not. We have a Fed that's going to act after the fact, as is their charter, to attempt to moderate the inflation. And how they're going to do that, they'll raise interest rates. That's always locking the door after the horse has left the barn. Sadly, but that's the charter of the Fed. That's what they're required to do. But why do we have this inflation? Well, if you look, the Biden administration has printed money like there wasn't any tomorrow. And when you do that, ask any economics student. Econ 101 will tell you that when you rapidly print money the way that we are, you're going to cause inflation. And I think we're going to see hyperinflation in the near future. If you notice, the stock market took a hit, 500 points on the Dow the other day. One could say, well, the stock market always is volatile, and
it took that hit because of that specific news. Because somewhere in that stock market, people want to believe. You know, it's for suckers like me.
Well,
I want to believe.
My stock exposure is rather small, so
mine is pretty large.
It doesn't bother me that much. But if you notice, as inflation goes up, the stock market will tend to go down. That happened in the Carter administration.
Yeah.
And our stock market was much more solid back then than it is now. It's frankly, the foundation is on eggshells on this market. It has been a boom for so long, possibly not warranted.
Yeah.
But speaking of Biden and inflation, Representative Ronnie Jackson, Republican out of Texas, signed a letter or penned a letter and has been signed by 37 GOP colleagues for Biden to take a standardized cognitive exam.
And by the way, he's a doctor, and he was a doctor for Barack Obama and Trump.
That's correct. 3 presidents total.
Yeah.
And it tickles me because the Biden administration has been strangely quiet about this. They won't even let Jen Psaki mention this for fear, I think, of a large groundswell of public opinion saying, yeah, let's do this.
Well, there is a large groundswell of public opinion that want him to do that. They know that, but it's pretty obvious that this guy does not have whatever marbles he had before, which weren't that many. He's lost a whole bunch of them. He knows it. The whole world knows that.
Segues beautifully into the Lester Holt interview, which I watched yesterday.
Right, I saw that.
This is the President of the United States, the commander of our military, ostensibly the leader of the free world, who confuses Ukraine, Afghanistan, and Iraq.
Yeah.
Now, the man has been known for gaffes for 47 years of his dismal career. But for the mainstream media to allow this to actually be broadcast surprises me. That tells me that maybe they're not 100% behind him the way they once were. Previously, a gaffe like this, it would never have made it on the air. It would have been on the cutting room floor. Maybe there is some hope for those of us who do believe in truth, justice.
Well, he didn't go as far as what he said to Peter Ducey, who asked a pretty good question, and call him a stupid son of a bitch.
Yeah, how about that? Now this is a case of pot calling kettle black.
Well, of course. The guy is he's incapable of even his old self, which was a despicable racist person.
Oh, he's an idiot.
Who was an idiot back then, and I couldn't understand how the Democrats could put this guy up. I just didn't see it. I never saw it. And everybody, all the liberals in my high school, I come from a high school, oh my God, the liberals, one was in the Justice Department, one was worked for CNN for years and years, and he was the head guy for Ted Koppel. He was the head producer for him, and smart guy. He calls me and he hangs up on me and cuts me off of Facebook because he thought I was just stupid about supporting Trump and not supporting Biden. He thought I was an idiot. I mean, give me a
You know,
break.
I think, Dave, the man on the street, the Democrat on the street, has a serious case of buyer's remorse. Which
Oh, my
matters,
goodness, do they?
That matters nothing to the Democrat Party. What is important is in the power structure of the Democrat Party, I think you're seeing some buyer's remorse. How many gaffes do you have to absorb before you say, well, maybe we better get rid of this guy? Well, they've painted themselves into a corner because if they get rid of this guy, we're stuck with Kamala Harris, who is uniformly hated through the Republican and the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
So what do? We take this giant step backwards. We get rid of an idiot and bring the hoe on. Well, good grief. I heard a chuckle.
Okay.
Guys. Yes,
Normally, I don't like that kind of language.
Joe and Ho, and it's H-O. It's H-O.
H-O. Ho.
We're not
yes.
spelling out anything here.
You're one or two haircuts away from being Santa Claus.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Another idiotic thing in the Biden administration. January 28th, 2021, so this is a little better than a year ago.
Yeah.
Joe Biden publicly said that any bully in his administration will be summarily fired. It's on record. I looked at the clip last night. And now we've got Dr. Eric Lander, who was a member of his cabinet, his scientific committee, who has resigned because of his bullying.
Yep.
And if you look, there have been people bailing out of Kamala Harris's group because of her bullying. Now, come on, Joe. You want to have this thing both ways. You want to talk out one side of your mouth and say, yeah, we're not going to allow any bullies in my administration. And then for a year, allow them. And finally, one does resign because of the ridiculous amount of public pressure against him because of his bullying.
Well, you got to understand something. If you want to know what Democrats are guilty, then you have to look at who and what they accuse others of doing, because it's all projection. Yes. They are all bullies. They're all bullies.
You and I have had this conversation before.
Yeah.
These folks blame the Republicans for all the sins of the Democrats.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, us Republicans haven't stood up, slapped them around, and said, you dumb bastards, you really ought to pick a different way to do these things.
Yeah, Russian influence.
This is not effective.
Ukraine influence. All that stuff. Wasn't he impeached for what Biden's kid did and the monies that Biden himself got from Burisma in Ukraine? And all of a sudden Trump is getting impeached because he had a telephone call congratulating the new prime minister, Zelensky, in Ukraine. And it was nothing on it. It was a nothing burger.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of the Ukraine and bullying, if you recall a public video of Joe Biden suggesting that a prosecutor in the Ukraine must be fired, or you folks don't get a whole big sack of money.
Yeah, but that stuff it's a given. It's not shocking anymore. We all know that they are lying SOBs, and why? Because that's the way they think they can keep power. It's all about power to them. They'll say anything and do anything to anybody like they're doing in this 1-6 investigation. We're going to hear from Jeff Zink about that later. And everything they're saying is a lie.
They can't win any of this on public policy. Their public policy is a disaster from one end to the other. So what do they have left? They must resort to name-calling and allegations. And that's what they've been doing for the last year while Biden has been in president. Yeah. But they did that the entirety of Trump's presidency. Yeah. It was one allegation after another. And ultimately, those end up being unfounded. The trouble is, Dave, you and I have discussed this before, too. The damage is done. By the time the refutation occurs, the damage is already done.
Yeah.
This is a never-ending problem. And what do you do to stop this? Well, you go to the ballot box, which is what you and I are going to do, and see if we can't boot these people out. But I'm afraid that the damage that they have caused, this insidious damage, is now part of the fabric of our country. And it's going to be mighty tough to unravel all of this socialist garbage that's been woven into it.
Okay. Well, listen, got anything else?
I do.
Okay.
One last thing. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
In Joe Biden's American Rescue Plan,
yes.
You remember this little disaster
yes.
from the first couple of
Allegedly,
weeks?
it's dead.
Say that again?
Allegedly, the newer form is dead.
The newer form is dead.
According to Joe Manchin, it is.
We have said before that the large print giveth and the small print taketh away.
Yeah.
Here's a bit of the small print from that little disaster.
Now be careful. Be careful. We got a guy that's telling us that just popped in to see what is happening on CNN. In other words, we're CNN. This guy's name is Terry Haynes, and he said something else. What else? Oh, old news. Okay, so.
Well, this is old news.
You didn't listen to the monologue, Terry, obviously. Go back and listen to the monologue if you want new news. Because I can guarantee you the MSM did not cover what was going on in Europe, all the riots and all the gatherings in Europe objecting to the mandates. They didn't cover it. CNN didn't cover it. I did. Hit it, JJ.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Here's my last little bit of wisdom that I intend to share for today in our conversation. This American Rescue Plan, which was a disaster, if you read the fine print in there, there's $30 million in that is allocated to distribute crack pipes and other drug paraphernalia to addicts in the name of racial equity.
Yeah, isn't that great?
And this amounts to 25 awards of $400K per year. Now, so far the administration has not set up any way to distribute this. There's no mechanism involved in it. But don't we have laws against taking drugs? I believe so. And to have the government distribute.
Well, let me ask you.
Of racial equity.
Let's see. Racial equity. Now, which race is most likely to utilize this?
Don't you think it might be the blacks?
Yeah. So is this how equity is supposed to take place? That we keep a bunch of black people high or deadly sick on crack?
Suppressed.
I mean, is that somewhat anti-black? I would think so.
Wouldn't you think so?
I mean, this is coming straight from the Biden administration. They want to keep blacks on the plantation. They'll do anything to do it.
And isn't this what the Democrats have done since Jim Crow?
There you go.
It doesn't change.
And blacks are leaving. Blacks are leaving by the hundreds, by the thousands. So are his Latinos. They're leaving. They don't like this horde coming over from the southern border. The invasions that have taken place. They don't. They hate that. All right,
my friend. In the end, we are going to win this.
I sure hope so.
Right on our side.
I said, you know what was going to hit the fan, and it has, and now the Dems are trying to pick up the little pieces and put it back together, and I'm afraid that Humpty Dumpty is not going to get put back together like they think.
I believe it's.
All right, Rick wants to say something here.
Yeah, just every once in a while you come across these rumors about JJ, and it has to do with him being 253 years old. But this latest rumor is, JJ, I heard that you gave Betsy Ross the inspiration for Stars and Stripes.
Do you think so?
That's what I heard.
She was a good friend.
Oh, how good. Oh, wait, we can't do that on there.
Okay, I'm
pretty
sorry.
Good.
Yeah, pretty good.
I think I won't go into that. The kissing and telling is not a part of my site. Dave, I love your show. God bless you. God bless Lisa.
Thanks,
and
JJ.
your staff.
Thank you, my friend. Another great appearance by JJ Bradshaw.
Good day, Dave.
All right. Okay, well, we're moving along pretty good here. And, oh, my God. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm going to get kicked off of Facebook. What are you giving? Hold on, sorry. What are you giving Sleepy? Why are you giving Sleepy Joe any credit? You should be talking about what entities that control the puppets, because if if you do, you what? William? I don't know what
Something about William now. Down here it says, because if you do, you will be booted off Facebook. Hey,
What's he talking about?
Because we're talking about the stuff the mainstream media won't talk about.
Hey, Facebook knows me very well.
Yeah, we've already had encounters with Facebook and Twitter. So
I've been
we're
threatened by them. I'm sort of sub banned from them. So who do you want me to talk about? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Terry. You know, so because if you do, you'll be booted off Facebook. I don't know what he's saying. Okay, I don't know. I've had the head of the guy that invented the drugs, the vaccines on the show. I've had him on in an interview with someone else.
Yeah, and we've readily talked about how this is just Obama Part 3, and he's behind the Iron Curtain here. We've talked about that several times.
Yeah.
So, yep.
All right. Well, I don't know. Just kiss my tuchus, I guess, because you got nothing. Anyways, let's see. What do we want to do here? Let's do another clip. Let's do 3 and 4. We got 3 already.
We did
right?
3. Yep.
Okay, do 4 and 5, please.
Abrams, and she fully supports all the mask mandates for kids, but she can't be bothered to be a good example and wear one herself because of her age alone. Never mind maybe any comorbidity she may have. Abrams is at a much higher risk for COVID-19 than any one of those kids with their mask on in that room. And yet she's the only one not wearing the mask. Now, here is a 70-year-old lady, Jill Biden, also no mask, surrounded by kids, all wearing masks. And here is 64-year-old teachers union boss Randy Weingarten, maskless on MSDNC, demanding your kids continue to wear masks. Take a look.
What Dr. McBride just told us about masks not particularly being effective for children, what's the argument against taking off masks in schools?
Well, the argument is that let me just say this. I am in favor of an off-ramp on masks.
Right.
The real issue becomes, is the spread low enough so that there's no dissemination or transmission in schools?
George Soros doesn't live in Austin, but he'd like to destroy it. So an advocacy group that he has founded just dumped $500,000 into a campaign to defeat that measure.
Well, they've been talking about George Soros for the longest time. Well, George Soros is back again. Tucker Carlson did a segment on George Soros last night in his show and something that's going on in Austin, Texas. Why would George Soros care about Austin, Texas? Because Soros and his organizations apparently have some interest in fighting against measures to fund the police because chaos is a weapon for the left.
Geniuses in the city government of Austin, Texas last year cut the city's police budget. Now the police have announced they are not able to respond to crimes that are non-emergencies, meaning if the perpetrator has already left the scene.
All right, we've got some other news here. Joe Rogan admitted to multiple uses of the N-word. Spotify removed some 100 episodes. Later it was found out that Joe Rogan agreed to that and apologized for the N-word use, which, you wonder how many times is he going to apologize? But, okay, fine. If anyone was watching the golf tournament from last week, Jordan Spieth took second at Pebble Beach. But the thing about that tournament, the most memorable thing, shots where he was within a foot of dying, literally, and probably in retrospect, his caddy and he later said, "There's no way I'd do that again." Because any slip up, and he had about a 900-foot fall on the rocks of the beach at Pebble Beach. And I don't know how he could have come out of that alive. He'd have to be really lucky. So that was amazing, and that shot is that's going to live in infamy. And actually, what he did was he used an extra club, and he took the swing falling backwards so he wouldn't fall forwards like he usually does. He follow through, and he hit it behind the green. And then he upped and downed it for a par. That's good golf.
That's a pretty way to recover
and
there.
I'll tell you what, I would have been shaking my tuchus off, whether I got that shot or not.
Yeah, he said later he saw the aerial shot that they had, and that's when he realized how deep that valley really was.
He saw the what do you call the thing up in the air? The
basically aerial shot, camera shot.
Yeah,
from
camera
above.
shot. Camera shot. I think it was from the blimp. Yeah, and they showed it, and my God, that was terrible. Pelosi tells us to shut up about China. You know, the crowds, the ratings are at record lows as Xi and Biden stand side by side, and apparently they made a few deals, probably one on the Ukraine and one on Taiwan. You know, I think they're rubbing each other's backs or giving massages to each other, and they are in defense of communism, which runs in China the murder, rape, and slavery of the Uyghurs.
I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Yep.
Uyghurs. I'm pretty sure. Uyghurs, right. They have a whole community of them living in jails, and they're utilized, being raped, and made to do what regular Chinese people don't do, I guess. Make Nike clothes and things. And I have shares in Nike. Of course, I didn't know that beforehand, so I don't know. Maybe I'll get rid of it, maybe I won't. There's a chip shortage closing Ford and GM factories. The inflation is going way up. As we both know, there's new cars are starting at $45,500, but that's simple, and that's way up. In 1973, you could buy a brand new car of the same kind for $3,000. $45,500 for $3,000. That's 49 years ago.
And you know what that's called? Inflation, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir. And wait, the average used car, $28,000. The average used car is $28,000. That's way up.
I've heard of a lot of people that bought brand new cars like 2 or 3 years ago, and if they don't have a lot of mileage on them, they can pretty much trade them in.
Yeah,
and in some cases get more for them.
Yeah,
than what they paid for them.
Wow,
it's just crazy.
Maybe we should trade our cars in, honey. What do you think?
I need to, yes.
Yes, okay.
But then we have to buy others. So, yeah.
No, you didn't mention that. I thought we could just walk everywhere.
I'd like to see that happen.
All right, chip shortage. So that's what's causing that. Nancy Pelosi telling us what to do. And now there's a bipartisan bill out there to stop inside trading, which she was adamantly against. But because why? Well, her and her husband were making millions. He was trading, and he was trading off information that was found out by Pelosi on certain committees. Even Ted Cruz just made a trade on Bitcoin. And this is going to be interesting because they also want to talk about the inside trading by maybe the Supreme Court. Okay. So, okay. Shall we go on with the messages? All right, let's see. What
We've got one more.
One more from Terry Hayes. Talk about how Fed creates money out of thin air. Okay. Well, you talk about it. I'm not interested in it, but they tend to put things into the market. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Dave, this is not relevant to that comment, but for people that are wearing a mask and you think it's really helping you, here's a quick test for you to find out if it's really working or not. Take a pair of simple reading glasses like this with your mask on and blow through it.
Yeah.
If it clouds up, your mask is not working. That's a simple test.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of it all.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the molecules of the molecules of the mask are so largely there's big holes in them.
Yes.
When you put it in a microscope, and it's like a fence, where we have these metal fences and you have these big holes in them.
Yeah.
It's almost the same as the little piece of virus that goes through these masks. So, all right.
It goes both ways, in and out.
Yep. Yes, Terry Haynes needs to get his own show. I'm not concerned about it, really, but, I'm really not, but that's your business. Go get a show. Do you have a show? Go get one. Golly. Yeah, that's right. I'm not concerned right now with it. Mayor Adams, he gave up meat, okay? But he was caught ordering, he wants everybody to be a vegan now, but he was caught ordering fish at restaurants. Do you consider fish meat? I would think so, right? Yes. And he's been wildly inconsistent. This is a former police guy on the DA in Manhattan that believes that everybody should, be recycled out there and given another chance. Meanwhile, they're killing people, they're killing cops, they're killing women. And so, what are you going to do? He's cried about somebody the other day. God, get some kahunas and do something about it. Gee, it's not like this hasn't happened before in New York. You had a mayor by the name of Rudy Giuliani who got police to the neighborhoods, who got police to make sure that they weren't killing each other or policemen. And it worked. It worked. Why do people in New York, the ones that are still there, because most of them have gone to Florida or Texas or someplace around the east or west coast, I mean, they're getting out of there by the hordes because it's not safe anywhere in New York. Not safe. Okay? So, Pope Benedict asks for forgiveness for looking away into in sexual abuse cases by priests. Isn't that something? And this is I can't even read my own writing here. Oh, this is while he was the Archbishop of Munich, Germany. So, I don't know what they're thinking. Why do we have people who are in the clergy that aren't really men and aren't really women in the sense that they don't have any relationships with each other? It's just wrong. It's not natural. It shows you that we're naturally men, naturally women, and there are urges, and some of these people, I might add, have inclinations to attack children. Why? I mean, Catholics, explain it to me, because there's so much trouble with that. Anyway, all right.
I wanted to. I wonder if we could play that clip that Morgan Freeman did that interview.
Yeah, why don't we do
this
that?
is Black History Month, and
sure, that's a good
I thought
idea.
it was very interesting the topic that he brought up on this, and
go ahead.
Kind of brought a whole new perspective.
Go ahead, hit it.
Black History Month you find
ridiculous.
Why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism until...
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman.
Isn't that interesting? Any response on that? I'd love to hear about that, because this Black History Month doesn't really seem to be creating any love between the races. And it's not even creating love between people of the black community for each other. You know? You have people that are in these communities that are killing other people, and the model really was taken up by Black Lives Matter for that when they said that the nuclear family should not be sought after, that men should be able to run wild in the neighborhoods, and women can take care of the babies and all that, and there should be no police, defund the police. That's the big Democratic cry. Joe Biden says, well, I've always been for police. Well, that's BS, because you didn't speak up when all these crimes were happening. 570 riots, a lot of which were there were blacks killing blacks, blacks killing whites, blacks killing police, also with Antifa, and white people killing police and killing each other. Go back to Kyle Rittenhouse. So, this is, and now Biden says, well, I've always been for police. Well, no, you were the one that said we don't want to have police. We want to have police. We want people thrown in jail because we don't want our neighborhoods turned into jungles. That's Joe Biden back in 1993, I think it was. Mm-hmm. Right?
I spoke to a black gentleman a couple weekends ago directly. Yeah. We had probably almost an hour-long conversation. He's pro-America, pro-Trump, anti-Biden, anti-Obama, and also anti-BLM, because he said he has a lot of friends that came against him and said, why are you not supporting BLM? He said, well, read their mission statement. Yeah. Find out what they actually stand for, because it's not what you think it is.
Well, yeah, and that's why I gave up my Cardinal tickets, which I had for, how many years did I have those? About 40 plus years. I had Cardinal tickets, season tickets, and used to use them to give away for prizes and things like that. I think some of them went to JJ. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so I don't, and I called the Cardinals. I said, I wanted to speak to the owner. I wanted the owner on the show. So they deferred to that, but they told me, well, don't you know what Black Lives Matter says? I says, yeah, I do, as a matter of fact. I study it. So, if you study it and you know what they stand for, and you watch what happened to McCluskey out there on King, just across the street from where I used to stay in St. Louis, the Chase Plaza, like within walking distance of where I was, and know that the police wouldn't do anything about an invasion of Black Lives Matter at his house, where his life was threatened, where his wife was threatened, and they threatened to kill him and burn their houses down. And you know what? They're still doing it, according to McCluskey. We'll have him back on the show shortly. So anyway, we're going to, let's see. We got Cheryl Chumley coming on next. Let's play a clip. Let's do the pageant pain. Let's hit it.
Okay, let me. I'm going to go and share it so I can share it as a video here. That way people can actually see this here.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, I think.
Okay, here we go.
Let's hit it.
Take this pill, and the pain of childbirth will be transferred to the father. I don't feel anything.
That's too funny. That's too funny. Can I see some of these other clips that are coming on? Because you got them all down there. Scroll up a little bit.
Oh, the comments
Please,
here?
Yeah.
We've gone through all these, I think, to this
all right,
point.
Well, no, I don't think. Scroll up. Let's see here. Okay, that's good. Yep. All right, that's fine. All right, you want to contact the show? Call me 573-578-2700. All right, and we're sounding good. We're looking good, and call the show. We got Cheryl coming up next. She should be a hoot, and she'll have a lot of information for us.
And okay. I think we have her now.
Good. Let's play her song. Ladies and gentlemen, big surprise today because we got Cheryl. Cheryl's picture. Hi, Cheryl.
Hey,
great to see you.
Guys?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like talking to a movie star or something, you know. You're on TV all the time and everything. Ladies and gentlemen, military vet, online editor to the Washington Times, Novak journalism fellow, author, speaker, TV star, and the media goddess. And how about holding up her book to the camera, please, to the Dave Weinbaum Show. Please welcome Cheryl Chumley. I almost screwed up JP because he's holding up the book and he had to signal our massive audience to applaud you. So
Peanut Gallery. Yep.
Peanut Gallery. So Loudoun County overrules Governor Youngston and suspends kids from schools for not wearing masks. But then a judge asserts that the governor, what the governor said is now it's law. So where does this thing stand now on the mask mandates with the schools?
Well, I can tell you what's happening in Virginia is that it's crazy because there are some jurisdictions in Northern Virginia that just don't want to relinquish control back to the parents. And so they're steadfastly pushing for more face mask mandates, the continuation of face masking of school kids. But in Richmond, it's interesting because there is a Democrat who has crossed aisles and brought forward legislation that explicitly states parents have the authority to determine whether their children should or should not wear masks in schools. And Governor Youngkin, will be signing that piece of legislation, and it is due to take effect in the coming months.
Now, is that statewide?
Yes, It is statewide, and that's something that these schools cannot fight because it's duly passed legislation.
So what you're seeing all over the country now, what does that tell you? Is this pandemic thing over?
If you look at the science and the data, the pandemic's been over for a very long time. I've had on my own Bold and Blunt podcast at the Washington Times a guest who his role is simply to analyze data. He's not political. He's not partisan. He's been following the data, the actual numbers of the coronavirus since the beginning. And he's written 2 and even 3 books about it now. And according to his data, the pandemic ended a long time ago. We knew over a year ago who the people were who were most at risk of death and really adverse health impacts from this virus. And most of the time, obesity was tied to those impacts. And children especially are the ones who have skated and skirted any type of negative health repercussions from the virus. That's according to the data.
Now, this is a segue, but it's not for reasons you might think. Stacey Abrams is, she's probably a smart person, but when she does stupid, she does stupid. Like getting in front of this picture with these kids all wearing masks, and she's sitting there without a mask. And is that stupid or what?
Politically speaking, it's about as stupid as you can get. I don't know what she was thinking, and here she is trying to advance her political career, and that photo is going to be just run for the next few months as the governor race plays out in Georgia. And more to that, though, it epitomizes the hypocrisy of the Democrats on not just face masking, but this entire coronavirus crackdown crazy that they've had going on for almost 2 years now. And I just think smart Republicans will take that photo and continue to use it and exploit it for political purposes.
Well, she blamed this on racism, citing Black History Month, and also it's other garbage about it. And then a couple days later, I guess somebody got to her and she apologized for doing it. But how can you be that ignorant of that? What that would mean to everybody? It's like there's a power trip there. You've got a bunch of kids behind you, and they all have masks on. It's like you have now made yourself almost like a godlike figure. Do you see that?
This is what arrogance does. Arrogance and hypocrisy, and those are earmarks of the Democrat Party. Look, we just saw a couple months ago Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is supposedly the future of the Democrat Party, according to Tom Perez, right, the socialist.
Yeah.
She leaves her coronavirus crackdown-laden New York and heads to Florida for a vacation where she's captured not just once, but twice, maybe even 3 times out in public without a face mask, enjoying the sunshine. And, this is a woman, like all the Democrats, who have first off criticized Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, for his ability to keep the state open and free. And second off, this is a woman with a party that has done everything in its control, in its power, to crack down on individual liberties using the coronavirus as justification. So, Stacey Abrams, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, they're cut from the same cloth, and that is the cloth these days of the Democrat Party.
Now we've seen what's happened, and all these states, these blue states, are now shutting down the mandates, and that to me indicates they're admitting that it's the end of the pandemic. Now, we've had about 10 to 15 million people die worldwide, and some of it was accidental, some of it was misdiagnosis, some legit, but I believe a lot of it was intentional. Where does this go in a criminal aspect around the world, or does it?
It doesn't. I mean, look at New York, right, with Cuomo and what he did with the nursing homes and all the deaths that occurred there. When it's a Democrat in charge, there are no boundaries to what the Democrat can do because there's no accountability for it. And, I want to go back to what you just said about that this to you seems as if the Democrats are acknowledging that the pandemic is at an end. I think it more points to the fact that the Democrats are looking at the polls and they're looking at the political landscape, and they're realizing they are going to get roasted, not just in the midterms, but in the next presidential election. And they need to make some changes and give some people back the freedoms that they never should have stolen in the first place. But make no mistake, if Democrats win again and hold leadership positions, there'll be another variance of a pandemic. There'll be some other crisis to come to justify rolling back time and returning to all these mandates.
Yeah, and the reason is? What's the reason for that?
Because that's what Democrats stand for.
Well, and it also keeps people obedient and under government thumb, right?
Absolutely.
Now, you wrote about abolishing the CDC, a publisher of the VAERS report, mind you, which does at least give some credence to vaccine adverse events. Why do you want the CDC out?
Look, the CDC, this federal bloated bureaucracy, has done nothing but create fear and mass hysteria for over 2 years. Pretty much nothing they've said on the coronavirus in terms of recommendations to protect ourselves has come true, has panned out. There is nothing the CDC has put out that individuals taking responsibility for their own health decisions and those of their children could not have come to conclude on their own. And it's not as if you get rid of the CDC and there goes all the federal, there goes all the federal agencies that can recommend how to protect ourselves from diseases and viruses. We still have the states and we still have the localities. We still have people in government who will produce reports and so forth. But the CDC has just abused its power and authorities in the last few months to the point where you have to question, what's the point of having the CDC around anymore anyhow? It's the same argument that conservatives bring to the Department of Education at the federal level. Can't we do this through the states?
You know what I'm wondering, and this just came as a thought. Suddenly, out of the blue sky, all these blue states are now ending the mandates. How many of these people have sold masks short on the stock market? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I was watching with interest way back when the face masks were being pushed and then mandated, as well as you can mandate something that's unconstitutional like that. All these companies started springing up and offering face masks for sale. And some of the, just anecdotally speaking, some of the places that I shop for clothing online even started having their own separate section where they would have fashion face masks and so forth for sale. So there was a lot of money to be made in face masks.
That's right. Oh, yeah. I mean, we're talking billions and billions of dollars there. Anyways, you really want to know if Biden could pass a cognitive test? I mean, the question is, will Biden take a cognitive test? And I think we both know the answer to that. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah. The question is, how low would he go in the score? And,
right.
Republicans are quite right in pushing for him to take this test because, first off, tit for tat, Democrats did that for Donald Trump.
Right.
And Donald Trump came forward and, he
took the test.
He took it. And he released results. And turns out that all those saying that he was insane were far off the mark. And now here comes a president who is decidedly this side of sanity. He's really struggling to get a point across on the public stage. And Americans should know that their president is mentally fit to hold office. And this president has not taken or released results of his cognitive abilities tests. And honestly, we can all look at him and watch him and see why he's refusing to take the test.
Well, of course. And what do you see as it's very interesting what's going on in Canada, obviously. What do you see as the eventual outcome of this? Does it end good or bad?
I think it ends good for freedom because, first off, when Canada revolts against the government, everybody in the world has to sit up and take notice because
they're all nice people.
The friendliest people in the world, right? That's what they're known for. And so we've already seen one province in Canada bend to the truckers' will, so to speak. And I think Justin Trudeau, he does not have the, the leadership, the strength and leadership to put off this concerted and determined protest movement for much longer.
Well, yeah, the first thing he did was what? He ran away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's an indication of somebody that won't face up to pressure, right there. And then he called them Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that interesting, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Sound familiar about what Trump supporters are called? There you go. Hey, other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find you and buy your books?
Thanks. WashingtonTimes.com, and you can find my books on Amazon, and you can find me on Twitter at CK Chumley.
Are you still on TV?
I am. I was on Newsmax yesterday, and I was on this morning, which is why I'm here this morning, because I already had my hair and face mask.
That's interesting. I did mine this morning, too. See the little stubs there? I shaved. Anyways, I got this last thing to say to you. Those with frogs in their throats don't need honey to catch flies. Ladies and gentlemen, that's advice. Cheryl Chumley, thank you so much, Cheryl. You look gorgeous. Thank you for being on the Dave Weinbaum Show. Again.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank
God
you.
bless you guys.
God bless you, too. Bye-bye. All right, she's great. Oh, she heard that. Oh, sorry. She is great.
And I do have the link here. This is to her Amazon page. It has everything, all of her books, including this one here, but also the new one that you can still pre-order has a link to that as well, plus any other materials. So,
okay, great. All right, well, let's see. What should we do? Let's do. Have we done 2 sponsors yet?
We still have one more round of commercials to do.
Okay, why don't we do that? Because I'll forget. Because this is going wild. We've got every other minute I got to think about whether it's another. If I have another interview doing, and do I need to play bits and stuff like that? We do have some special bits coming up very shortly about why I deserve a Super Bowl ring, which I think is very important to cover since the Super Bowl is this Sunday, and I really believe I should get one. In fact, I'm thinking about getting Dick Vermeil on the show, who's 85 years old. He just might remember our conversation that we had just after Trent Green was injured, and he had to deal with Kurt Warner.
It was just announced either late last night or early this morning that Dick Vermeil was just elected to the National Football Hall of Fame.
Well,
so
that should be a
Hall
cause for him to talk to us, don't you think? Let's see how Hall of Fame his memory is. All right, hit it.
With warmer temperatures right around the corner and allergies ramping up, now's the time to get those AC units serviced. At Hartley's, we pride ourselves in offering outstanding service with fast response times. With proper maintenance, you can make those hot days be a lot cooler and remove those pesky allergens that always seem to find their way into your home. Call us today so you can be living a much cooler and healthier life. Hartley's, community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Kent's Jewelry does custom engravings for almost anything. Awards, signs, guns, swords, mugs, yetis, and knives. Kent is the premier custom jeweler in mid-Missouri. We have a great staff, the technology, and equipment to create what you dream for, jewelry and engraving. Kent's Jewelry, 907 North Pine, downtown Rolla, 573-364-1030. That's 573-364-1030. Locally owned.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is 2 words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping, too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassles. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our #1 goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Busy schedule? Let your locally owned Price Chopper help you save time with online shopping. It's easy. Sign up to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. Create an account and browse through the categories and choose the items you need. When you place your order, your personal shopper will get all of the items you've selected, taking the same care you would and following your notes. We offer free curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Start your online order today and no online shopping fee for a limited time. Go to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app to get started. Price Chopper. Fresher savings every day.
At Town & Country Bank, we are committed to providing exceptional service to our customers. We do more than just provide loans for our community. We help make dreams become reality. Whether it's a new home, farm, business, or a new car, we would love the opportunity to help. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly lending team remind you how special hometown banking can be. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
I think in honor of the Super Bowl, we ought to play Carlin Sports. What do you think? Let's do that.
We haven't done this one in a while, so I think everybody will really enjoy that. So
it's kind of in style with the Super Bowl coming up.
Absolutely.
Right? And baseball's got a major strike maybe coming up.
Got a lockout.
There you go, lockout right now. Hit it.
In football, the object is for the quarterback, otherwise known as the field general, to be on target with his aerial assault, riddling the defense by hitting his receivers with deadly accuracy, in spite of the blitz, even if he has to use the shotgun. With short bullet passes and long bombs, he marches his troops into enemy territory, balancing this aerial assault with a sustained ground attack which punches holes in the forward wall of the enemy's defensive line. In baseball, the object is to go home and to be safe. I hope I'll be safe at home. Safe at home.
Okay, let's play. Is it 5 and 6? Is it or what?
We played 5 earlier. We still have number 6 though.
Let's do number 6, and then we can start in on the Super Bowl defense of me getting my ring. I deserve a ring from 1999. Isn't that when they won the Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good. Hit it.
Every time you tell us not to, we add 2 more stories. How does that sound? Maybe 3. My friend Matt Palumbo, who writes at my website, has a book coming out about George Soros. That is, I have seen the book. I've read the book. To call it eye-opening is understatement of the year. Here's a picture of the cover of the book if you're watching on Rumble. The Man Behind the Curtain. That's the title of the book. It's coming out soon. Pre-order it now before we sell out again. We have had a massive, massive amount of orders for this book. Again, the book is called The Man Behind the Curtain by Matt Palumbo. There's a picture of what it looks like on the cover now. It is all about Soros and what Soros is really, really up to. Folks, leftists like Soros and others, these leftist groups, why do they fight against the police and fund pro-crime measures like funding DAs who won't enforce laws? The left needs chaos, folks. I can't say this to you enough. The left needs chaos.
Okay, that's Dan Bongino, and he was on there with Tucker in the Soros book. We have the Soros book. Have you looked at it at all, or?
I looked at a couple pages.
Yeah. It should be
I would
very
really like to
interesting.
get it into it.
Yeah, and Soros is, he was in the Holocaust. He was 14 years old when he sort of joined up he's a Jewish guy, and he joined up with the Germans to help them hunt down Jews in Hungary. That's the kind of guy he is, and he has no shame at all about it, none. He thought he did the right thing, okay? That's Soros, who's now funding a lot of these ADs in the black areas in the cities of Manhattan and the West Coast, Los Angeles, in San Francisco, and getting this equity crap out there where people are allowed to do anything, walking into businesses and taking out, like this guy did the other day. They call him the McDonald's McBurglar, and the guy takes 10 steaks out, probably worth about $250 to, probably even more, but they have a $250 limit and they can steal it and nobody can touch them, right? How do you stay in business with that? I mean, I got my own business problems and we're trying to fight them, but I don't have that. That happens, it's going to be a war. Where I am, I mean, how do business people stay there? I don't understand, because it destroys the whole community. Where are people going to go when all these stores close, as they have done in a lot of black neighborhoods? Ferguson, for example, used to be a McDonald's there. I don't think it's open anymore in Ferguson. I think they closed it. All right, a friend of mine used to own it. And so where do people go? Do they have to now travel to go there? How is this good for the black communities? I don't understand it. I never did. And it's like the thing in Chicago where I have people that played football there. A lot of them were black. And at our last reunion, I talked to a whole bunch of them. They're all from the Chicago area. They've got relatives on the south side of Chicago. And just listening to them talk about all their relatives, all the kids, all the nephews and nieces and cousins that get shot and killed and or injured or whatever. And I say, so what are you doing about it? And they didn't have an answer. And these guys are tough guys. Let me tell you something. They're tough. And they didn't have an answer. So, okay. I think right now is the time that we listen. I'll tell you what let's do. Let's do the Animal House and then follow that with the interview of Scott. How do you say his last name?
Riedel.
Riedel.
Yep.
Yeah, let's do it. Hit it.
Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
German? Forget it, he's rolling.
And it ain't over now. Because when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Who's with me? Let's go! Come on! Ah! Where's the spirit? Where's the guts? Huh? This could be the greatest night of our lives. But you're gonna let it be the worst. Oh, we're afraid to go with you, Pluto. We might get in trouble. Well, just kiss my ass from now on! Not me! I'm not gonna take this! Murmur, he's a dead man! Marmalade, dead! Nehemiah! Dead! Pluto's right. Psychotic, but absolutely right. We gotta take these bastards. Now, we could fight them with conventional weapons. That could take years and cost millions of lives. No, in this case, I think we have to go all out. I think this situation absolutely requires a really futile and stupid gesture be done on somebody's part. We're just the guys to do it. Let's do it. Let's go!
And now we're going to play for you the interview that we pre-recorded yesterday from Scott Riedel.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA. Well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time to stand and say, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know
Ladies and
I'm
gentlemen,
free.
retired Army Lieutenant Colonel, completed 2 tours in Iraq. He's a conservative patriot running for Missouri Senate. Please welcome Scott Riedel. Hi, Scott. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for allowing me to be on your show.
My pleasure. Why are you running?
Well, I'm in a group called We the People. They have several chapters throughout Missouri, and they're headquartered out of Springfield. And I received a copy of Justin Brown, Senator Brown's voting record for 2021. And when I read over it, I was really appalled, because I thought, he's a Republican. Why is he voting like a straight line Democrat? And so I got it. It really made me a bit angry. And I said, somebody's got to do something. Somebody's got to do something. So I whined and I complained. And this little voice in me said, what about you?
There you go. So what do you stand for, Scott?
I stand for life, liberty, and prosperity. That's what I stand for. Now, do you want me to go into detail on that, sir?
A little, sure.
Yeah. Well, I'll just give you the highlights real fast. I'm real big. I'm 100% pro-life, and I want to defund Planned Parenthood. But first, I want to eliminate abortion, all abortion, and then we address defunding Planned Parenthood. I can go into more detail as you ask me. And then I'm definitely against the vaccine mandate. The vaccine mandate right now is definitely forced upon our healthcare workers, and they're the ones that have to get a vaccine unless they have a religious exemption or if they have a medical exemption. But I'm definitely against the vaccine mandate. There's a few other things I'm against, but that's the highlight of it.
All right, great.
Also, for prosperity, and I'm terribly disappointed that we have a gas tax. It is really hard to fill up our gas tank now, just seeing what it costs. And I'm definitely against the gas tax. I'm also against the personal property tax. So those are just a highlight. I would like to go into some more detail if you so.
Well, what are the differences between you and Josh Brown, for example, on the gas tax and 7-1? Tell people what 7-1 is.
Okay, 7-1. I'm going to focus on that first. Now, if I was the senator in place of Justin Brown, I would have voted for the 7-1. What the 7-1 does is it provides, there's 8 seats that will go up to the House in Congress in the Beltway of Washington, D.C. And what reflects our state is 7-1. We have a supermajority in the Republican in the state government. We also have, our state is red. So 7-1, we would send up 7 Republicans and 1 Democratic seat. What Justin Brown did was he voted against that. Okay, he voted with 14 other GOP Republicans, supposedly, against 8 conservative caucus members, conservative members. And so what you're doing by giving a 7-1, you're giving as many Republicans as possible to the GOP up at the Beltway. But what's happening right now is called the Pelosi plan. Pelosi is cutting in Illinois, not her explicitly, but the Democrats in Illinois, New York, and California, they're cutting out all the GOP seats, and they're giving them all to the Democrats. Before the election now in 2022, the Democrats have already achieved 19 seats that used to be Republican, and they have already achieved that. So it is crucial for Missouri to have the 7-1, as many Republicans as possible. They're counting on Missouri because they know we have a super majority here. They know that we're a red state. And Justin Brown says he's a conservative, but he voted against this, absolutely voted against it. He was confronted on this, and he said he was for it, but he had to vote against it.
Huh.
And so,
what about the gas tax? He voted against that, or he voted for that. Is that correct?
He voted for the gas tax. And this is what I don't understand. He's a farmer. And farmers, it's tough being a farmer. They don't make a whole lot of money and everything. And it really is costly just to plant the crops and all, to go and do the harvest and all. And he voted for the gas tax. Now, it was brought before the people in 2014, 16, and 18 by ballot, and we voted it down. His father voted against it. Dan Brown voted against it. And he goes and he votes for it. And it doesn't make any sense. In 5 years, we'll have a 30-cent gas tax on top of what we already had was 17 cents. So before we even pay for a gallon of gas, we have to pay 47 cents. And he voted for that. And I don't understand why he did that.
Well, we have a huge tax just from the inflation alone.
Exactly right.
So what do you need? What do you need from the public, Scott?
This is what I need from the public. First, I want to state is your senator, my senator, is not a conservative. I want you to wake up. That's the first thing. And I want to go and share just a few things of what he has voted for that his dad would never have voted for. If Dan Brown was alive, I wouldn't even be on the campaign trail. I would be thrilled because I know that he would represent us as conservatives, as people of valuing life and all. But he's not here. I'm here. And Justin Brown is not representing us. He's voted time after time to defund Planned Parenthood. He's voted to expand Medicaid. What a lot of people don't realize with Medicaid is that the health provider is Planned Parenthood. And so they manage, now that Medicaid has been expanded, 18, it covers the years of 18 or the age of 18 to 65. And so now they have a good wealth of business from that, and then they can provide Medicaid for their business. And he voted to expand Medicaid. He did not sign on to the vaccine mandate when 16 senators called his office and said, hey, would you go and sign up for to send a letter to the governor requesting a special session for the legislators to meet and make a law to outlaw the vaccine mandate? He refused to sign his name to that letter. He voted for government prescription drug monitoring by the federal government. His dad voted against that time after time, and he voted for it. Who in their right mind would allow the federal government to monitor and record all the people that are lawful and abiding people for taking prescription drugs? That would be about most people in Missouri.
All right.
And he voted for that.
So where can people find and contribute to you?
Okay. People can find me on patriotsforriedel.com. That's my website. I've got a donation button there. You can also see my platform and also how Justin Brown has voted. Also, you can find me on my Facebook, Patriots for Riedel. You can look there and you can see my comments that I make about once every about 4 or 5 times a week. And that's it. Oh, and also, if you want to mail me a check, you can mail it to Patriots for Riedel, P.O. Box 418, Camdenton, Missouri 65020.
You know, earlier you mentioned farmers, and, I have a tip. Scott, when I plant poison ivy, I start from scratch.
That's right.
All right, thank you so much. Scott Riedel, thank you, Lieutenant Colonel, and I wish you the best of luck on your campaign.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Lisa, why were you whining about that?
What?
That was kind of funny, wasn't it?
I'm laughing.
I even tied it into his comments about the farmer.
Yes, yes.
It was a good segue.
Please don't plant poison ivy. I'm very allergic.
All right. JP's got something to say.
So we've got link up here, patriotsforriedel.com. You can go check that out, as Scott mentioned. And I think the only other new comment we had come in lately was Jane Shepard here saying good morning all. Yeah. Everything else, we've got it covered.
Hi, Jane. And I think if Josh Brown wants to come on, I got to give him equal time. I'll do it. So you got about almost 10 minutes coming if you want it. And I think we play. Let's do. We got so many good things here. Let's do Seinfeld toilet paper, followed by ivermectin.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. This is kind of embarrassing, but there's no toilet paper over here. Are you talking to me? Yeah, I just forgot to check. So if you could spare some. No, I'm sorry. What? No, I'm sorry, I can't spare it. You can't spare it? No, there's not enough to spare. Well, I don't need much. Just 3 squares will do it. I'm sorry, I don't have 3 squares now, if you don't mind. 3 squares? You can't spare 3 squares? No, I don't have a square to spare. I can't spare a square. Well, is it 2 ply? Because if it's 2 ply, I'll take 1 ply. 1 ply. 1 puny little ply. I'll take 1 measly ply. Look, I don't have a square, and I don't have a ply. No, don't pull. I beg you.
Ivermectin, I take it by the pill. Ivermectin, the pandemic it will chill. Ivermectin, I let it take its course. Ivermectin, now I'm neighing like a horse. Everybody was in on that.
Nope.
Except for my next guest, who is sitting there right now. I assume he's ready to go. We might as well go out and hit it, right? Yeah. Why don't we do that? And let's play a song, and then we'll talk to him. Lifelong conservative. He refuses to treat Marxists with anything but disdain. Only Italian to live in Wyoming who never eats garlic. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome all the way from Missouri, where he moved just to annoy me, Chris Adamo! Yay! How you doing, buddy?
Boy, did I get a bunch of strange ones this morning.
Well, I figured I'd shake it up a little bit for you.
Never eats garlic. I mean, that's like saying Hillary's honest. It just can't possibly get that more
well,
wrong.
Okay. Well,
But,
you could dispute what I said.
I heard what you were telling the colonel there, and yes. I wanted to warn you. You've had a rash of bad jokes lately. But anyway, moving beyond that, how are you doing, sir?
Yeah, well, you just got a rash, and I can see it all over your arms. How's that? Yeah, good. Yeah, you want to insult me? I hear you tried to donate your brain to science, but they were only taking used ones. You want to go there with me? I don't think so. All right. So WHO, WHO, 500,000 killed by Omicron. Do you believe that?
We have gotten to the point. I'll tell you something interesting this morning, and we can talk about the full subject here a little bit later. I'd really like to. But I noticed on Breitbart that they had, thank you, there's my book.
Yes, there's his book.
For all Americans who want to understand how leftists operate, and no, I'm not a Marxist. I treat them with the respect they deserve, which is pretty much total contempt. But there's my book, the guidebook on how to deal with leftists. So I was looking at Breitbart this morning, and the headline said that that Go or Give Send Go account, their alternative to GoFundMe, because GoFundMe would backstab those truckers there in Canada. Yeah. And it said, if I can quote here, it said, the fascist government of Canada is trying to block Give Send Go from sending money to the truckers. The thing about this is that Breitbart in the past would never have said the fascist government. They would have just left that descriptor out. Now, it's an accurate descriptor. They got it right. The point is, we've got to be calling these things exactly as they are. And we've got to recognize that you take your organization, CDC, WHO, Department of Homeland so-called Security, the Department of so-called Justice. We've got to call them out for what they are, because as long as we keep trying to treat them like the honorable institutions we once presumed they were, we give credit to their lies, we give credit to their propaganda, we give credit to their attacks on America.
Liz Cheney, your favorite, I'm sure, and Adam Kinzinger, they're censored by the GOP for participating in the 1-6 committee scam. And Mitch McConnell defends them. What are your thoughts?
Glad you mentioned that. It's coming down to the subject we've discussed several times in the past here, that what you're seeing in America is this massive split between left and right. We've come to realize that this isn't just a matter of different economic approaches to how to deal with the problems of the country. You have one side that's pro-America, pro our Judeo-Christian foundation, and you have another side that's pro-Marxist. And we've all come to the conclusion, rather painfully, that we can't give those people, as you said earlier, we can't give those people any respect. And so the GOP is going through a microcosm of the same thing. There's people like McConnell who can get inside of his head and know, you want to talk about a used brain there. Either he's scared of being labeled to be one of us, or he's been just a traitor all along, and now he's being called out. It's like, now you've got to take sides. Everybody's having to take sides on these things now, and a lot of the people that we thought were on our side prove that they aren't.
Or he might be compromised. His wife's father owns some major trucking businesses in China. So he might be like Biden.
That wouldn't surprise us one bit. We've seen so much of that in the past. I go back to the fact that they took how many dozen votes during the Obama years to repeal Obamacare. They had it on every fundraising letter, and the idea is that we're fighting for the repeal of Obamacare. And once Trump got in office, they did everything they could to prevent him from chipping away at it to the slightest degree.
Right. Hey, why is Mike Pence throwing Donald Trump under the 1-6 committee bus?
It goes back to the same thing. I think both sides are throwing the other under the bus because, first of all, we need to be jettisoning these people because they never were our people. Mike Pence never was one of us. If you listen to him on the speech he gave right after Election Day, he was up there on the stage with Trump, and Trump gets up there, and Trump is, at that moment, he's boiling mad of what he saw.
Yeah.
Of course, we're all still mad, but he's right in the midst of it there within hours of it occurring. He's boiling mad, and I challenge people to go look at Pence's speech in the hours right after the election theft, and Trump calls Pence to the stage, and Pence gets up there, and he is Waffle House USA. He is trying to come out and say, I'm really one of you, but he's trying to do everything he can to claim he's on our side without saying anything definitive. So January 6th comes around, and he was in a position to come out and publicly say, no, they stole the election. I will not put my stamp of approval on it. Now, they would have bypassed him. They would have rejected him and bypassed him. Fine, let them do that. But you're on record at that point saying, I don't give my stamp of approval to this. He wouldn't do that. And he claims he's got to do his job.
He said that was part of his job, that he didn't have a choice.
Right.
But he did, didn't he?
And what would have happened if what are they going to put him in jail if he does that? No, they would have somehow found a way to discount it. Yeah. But he could have stood up and spoken the truth, and he didn't. And so he chose sides, and so now he's got to either backtrack and admit that he was a total coward, a total sellout on that day, or he's got to try and say he did the right thing.
Well, it's like now the pandemic looks like it's over because the Democrats now have pretty much conceded in a bunch of blue states that the mandates, with the interesting exception of school kids having to wear masks. But I'm wondering down the road, if the Republicans gain the House and Senate, what happens when the repercussions come of all these people that died, seemingly some of them, many of them, maybe even millions, intentionally, who pays for this? Who becomes accountable? And will the rhinos in the Republican Party really go after them?
Well, I guess the thing that I would always go back to with the rhinos is they've already proven they can't be trusted. And so when they do, as you suggest, if they do look like they're going after them, it's going to be about the same thing as when they look like they were going to actually fight for America to repeal Obamacare. The thing that I would really caution America against right now, and boy, if there's one message, if we could, tweet it and share it on Facebook and Twitter and every other platform coast to coast, is that right now we are in the time of picking and choosing who to actually represent the Republican Party in the House of Representatives. Right now is when we can get rid of all the rhinos, all the lukewarm ones, all the spineless cowards. Between now and primary day in the particular state is when we have that option. I'm not really fully convinced that all the Democrats backing off right now is really about the Democrats. I strongly suspect it's about trying to keep us from rallying to the really conservative Republicans. And that way we get them through the primary. And suddenly, when we're putting these people in office in November, we put in a strong Freedom Caucus type Republican Party. And now both the Democrats and the rhinos have a problem with it. So I think it's I think it's a backroom deal where they all agreed with each other. Let's back off of all of this for the moment. We're not really gaining that much politically by doing it right now, and it's a liability. Let's back off. Everybody will calm down. Everybody's going to watch the Super Bowl this weekend. Everybody's just going to go back to normal if they can. And maybe between now and primary day in your particular state, the rhino can get through, and then we can continue on with business as usual once we've done that.
So who do we trust? There's nobody to trust except ourselves and our big mouths.
I think, again, my article last week, I discussed the overreaches of the Democrats, and I discussed them in really harsh terms. And I honestly hesitated when I thought of sending that article into you and the other sites where it's posted. And I thought, this is the kind of thing where if I had written this a year or two ago, it wouldn't have gotten posted. It's like, okay, Chris has got the tinfoil hat on, and we really, he's, nice guy, good Italian guy and all that, but he's really off the deep end here. But everybody posted it, and I got all kinds of agreement because we have seen how much more severe things have gotten. We need to proceed on that basis. When you say who to trust, there is a few people in the system that we can trust. We're Missourians here, obviously. Josh Hawley has just been by far the best one in the crowd. We saw Ted Cruz, who I supported more than anybody else prior to Trump. We saw him dump on us, just a few months ago.
Yep.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said, yep. But I'll go to the next question. That's all right. Can you sink any lower, not you personally, but than the wide open southern border, distributing illegals all over the United States, spreading COVID, smuggling fentanyl in? How do we put up with this? And then they want to protect the Ukraine? They want to protect their borders? What the hell is that?
Again, they're posturing. The thing that they fear most is actually what's going on in Canada right now.
Yeah,
that's the thing that the political establishment fears. And if you look at the subterfuge on the side of the left associated with all of that, it's something that they know could actually become game, set, and match. Because if Trudeau's getting told from all over the world, I have no doubt he's getting told, don't you dare back down. Mm-hmm. Gretchen Whitmer has offered to send heavy equipment to him to remove the trucks.
I'd like to see that.
Tells me is we need a caravan of trucks right now going into Lansing, Michigan. But what's happening is that they raise the stakes, and if we don't respond in kind, they've got green light to keep raising the stakes. The border, unfortunately, it should be every bit as big of a deal. You're absolutely right. Unfortunately, it's something we have grown emotionally accustomed to for years. And it's like, okay, it's just more of the same that they've been doing to us, more of the same that the rhinos facilitated during Trump. You remember how that was another one of those things where they totally, completely betrayed him, betrayed America. And, you've got these evil things going on. But if you hit one of these situations, what I refer to as hitting a tripwire moment, and I'm talking about something akin to, if you remember, maybe Napoleon is too much ancient history, marching on Paris. But if you remember Boris Yeltsin in the 1990s, standing on a tank and riding into Red Square, and the Soviet machine that had slaughtered millions, that had, the most monstrous tyranny in the history of the world, with maybe the exception of China, and they knew that there was no way that they could do anything in any kind of organized manner against Boris Yeltsin. They didn't have the military anymore. They definitely didn't have the people. And so this is the thing that they're fearing most right now. New Zealand, by the way, there's a caravan of truckers going into whatever the capital is of New Zealand. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank there. But the government has backed off. The whole backing off of COVID thing could be something to keep us from hitting that tripwire moment, because something will happen at that point. Either we'll have a total military takeover like they had in Iran when the Ayatollah overthrew the Shah, or you're going to have a Boris Yeltsin moment. And if it happens in Canada, of all places, you can be guaranteed it's going to happen like dominoes.
They've been now boxed in by this comment from Trudeau that they're swastika carrying Nazis. And
what do leftists always say?
Pardon?
I have a friend, Sloan Rockmuth, who's a great, wonderful Jewish patriot out of North Carolina, and she's fighting against the school boards and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's been doing these fantastic programs to educate parents on how to take on the school boards, teaching critical race theory and stuff. You know what she gets called? She gets called an anti-Semite.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I've been called a white supremacist. And you know how I've dealt with that, which is
how's that now?
You are a racist pig.
And that's absolutely the truth.
And they get all up. What do you mean I'm racist? I said, you just called me something based on what you think my skin color is. Okay?
Yep, it's absolutely.
That is a total racist pig comment, and you represent that, and you ought to apologize.
And
I've gotten a few of them to apologize.
The left is they'll foment hatred and division and manipulation on the basis of race.
Well, most people,
gender,
to your point,
anything else they can.
Start apologizing right away, like Rogan. Why did he apologize?
Yeah, good point. I wish we could get a copy of my book to Joe Rogan.
In fact, we should send it to him. You should be on his show.
I would love to. I'm trying to get on Stu Peters' show. I'm still fighting to do that.
Stu Peters would be great too. Absolutely.
But yeah, the rule number one in my book, don't want to give the whole thing away. I want people to buy it, obviously.
Yeah.
But rule number one is you don't ever apologize unless you've actually done something wrong.
Right.
And then if you apologize because you did something wrong, you be very, very specific as to what you're apologizing for. Because if they can accuse you of the most absurd thing in the world.
Right.
And if you apologize, you've just validated the accusation.
Well, if they accuse you of being racist against blacks, for example,
right,
and you start answering, well, I have plenty of black friends and I have a black employees and stuff like that. They're looking for stuff like that, okay?
Absolutely.
And
what that is a defensive response.
Yeah, and you just go offense on them and say what you just said is a lie, and you're a racist. Again, accusing me of being anti-race or anti-black is a lie. Period.
Yeah, the thing that they are really pulling with a lot of this stuff, and again, we let them get away with it, is they concoct these phony moral equivalencies. Just for example, Chris Hayes on MSNBC, I found this one just a few minutes before I got on the show here. He attacks Fox because Fox is supporting the truckers, but Fox criticized BLM and Antifa. Now, that's a moral equivalency, a phony moral equivalency of the left, and it's a standard tactic they use. And if we could learn these things and be aware of these things, we wouldn't be on the defensive. Because to say that one protest is the same as another is absolute idiocy. First of all, what's their end goal? Well, if you look at BLM and Antifa, their end goal is Marxism. Their end goal is overthrowing Americanism. And they do it through looting, burning down, murdering innocent people, the whole assault and battery thing on the streets.
And stealing all the money and buying estates. Okay.
Yeah.
They're not helping the black community.
That's
They're
the
not giving them any money.
That's a hypocritical element, which
absolutely
another element of the left. But you look at the truckers, and frankly, the truckers are they went in there saying we're not going to be violent. Which I'll be honest with you, I wish they hadn't have just announced that.
Yeah, well, they might have to be violent.
The left can put them on the defense if at any point, the cops are talking about taking their kids.
Yeah.
If at any point they draw the line and they use physical force, it's, now you're a hypocrite. So what you need to do is go in there.
Yeah.
We're going to win this war because this is for Canada. This is for America. This is for the free world. We're going to win this war.
Right now they're stealing their gasoline. They're stealing their wood piles. They're trying to freeze them to death, and there's children there.
Yeah.
And they say now they're going to go around and arrest them without a warrant.
This is how they operate. Now they have weaponized these organizations. In this country, we're looking at the FBI, the CIA, the Department of Justice, the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, that have been weaponized, that are being used to track law-abiding Americans who conflict with the state. The state party line. And this is something out of the old Soviet Union. And there is no moral equivalency there. Well, if you can use the CIA to track foreign spies and criminals who are actually enemies of America, then we can use the CIA to attack mom and dad on Main Street because they don't believe in wearing their mask. And this is the way we allow the left to manipulate these situations and these arguments.
One more question.
Sure.
How about the crack pipe distribution to the black communities?
What is the purpose of that?
I think it's to keep them in line and to keep them in a position of being on the plantation.
Yep, you're nailing it.
Yeah, and to keep them voting Democrat.
A few years ago, there was this huge conspiracy theory among the minorities when Bush was president that he was promoting, I think it was cocaine, some drug coming across the border because he wanted to destroy the black community. Now we see it actually happening. We see where it's coming from. And you see, is Black Lives Matter, are they overwhelmingly opposed to this? Or are they just good Democrat minions falling into line?
I don't know. Have you heard any statements objecting to it from Black Lives Matter?
Not one.
They know full well what's going on, and they're cooperating with it. Yes, go ahead.
My comment is, what if President Trump had done something like this? They would have trashed him.
God.
Oh,
come
yeah,
on.
Absolutely.
Absolutely correct.
It's the kind of thing that, the stuff that we would have called conspiracy theories 2 years ago, we're seeing it happen. And our side, the biggest thing we can do at this point, the biggest step one that our side still hasn't fully taken yet and needs to take is to be calling these things out for exactly what they are. Until we stop couching them in, terms like possible voting irregularities. You remember that's one of my big bugaboos over that whole thing. Until we start calling these things exactly what they are, we're never going to get off step one on it. We got to call it out, just as you said, Dave. What they're doing is they're trying to keep the gullible minions back on the plantation because that's how they keep them voting Democrat. They don't care the lives they destroyed. They don't care about the women who are getting pushed out of women's sports by these so-called transgender guys that they just want to get the trophy. They don't care about the elderly people dying in New York from the virus because they were specifically and deliberately targeted by Andrew Cuomo. They don't care about any of these things. That's a hallmark of the left, is they care about getting political power and will do anything to arrive at that.
Do anything, absolutely anything. Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find you and buy your book?
Well, my book is still on Amazon. They haven't banned it yet. I am, to be honest with you, looking for other publishers. I understand Dan Bongino is now have a publishing firm. I'm going to contact him. If you got connections there, Dave, if you can contact him, I'd appreciate that. I got my articles.
I just put myself on Rumble.
What's that?
I just put myself on Rumble.
Oh,
where
that's wonderful.
Bongino is.
Seriously, I'm going to look that up, and I'm going to start reposting that on all the social media. I'd ask everybody listening here to do likewise. We need to get you wide distribution on Rumble. That is great.
Yeah, I got to figure out what to do with it now. I've got Rick Henderson is on it.
Just get the word out.
He's on it like a dog on a cheeseburger right there. Rick Henderson.
Cheeseburger.
Yeah. He feeds his dogs McDonald's cheeseburgers. And speaking of which,
here it comes. Lisa, help.
I have no control. I'm sorry, Chris. Just block your ears. That's all I can say.
You know, this is like repression. This is what you're fighting against. People are repressing free speech. It's exactly what you're doing. How did the Sandwich King get rich?
How did the Sandwich King get rich? Oh, these are.
Can I just either you have an answer or you don't.
I'm breadless here.
You're breathless, yeah, breathless and breadless too. Brainless? Did you say? No, breadless. All right. So this is how the Sandwich King. See, I have to repeat it now. This is how the Sandwich King got rich. He covered the spread. Look at him.
I don't know.
He look at it. He's not laughing because he's restraining himself. I could see your veins popping out of your neck right now because you wanted to laugh, but you restrained yourself.
Choked up.
Oh my! He's choked up. He's laughing so hard.
No, I just got a happy birthday from Pamela Tanner. Thank you, Pamela.
Yeah, there is great news and great news, Dave. I will check you out on Rumble. Good. I haven't posted
Pamela,
anything.
Find out Dave's birthday and send him a joke book.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Well, it's too late. I already wrote it. So.
And there is a comment here. I put the link that goes directly to Chris's book on Amazon right there for easy access.
We know how to take care of you. We take care of you, all right?
I greatly appreciate it. Hey, you guys are doing a great job.
Thanks a lot, Chris. And we're going to go as far up as we can. Rick has a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chris, you play music on that organ behind you?
Well, it's actually a digital piano keyboard, and yes, I do. I had aspirations of being on the concert stage when I was in high school. Then I came to the realization that the good pianists were playing things at the age of 5 or 6 that I still couldn't play, and so. But I play a lot of classical music, and that's what that's all about.
Great, good to hear that.
All righty, you have a great weekend, my friend.
All of you as well, and keep
stay in touch.
Fight.
Stay in touch. I appreciate your help on Twitter, too. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye, Chris.
Bye-bye.
All right, get rid of him already. Look at him. He's looking at me. He's staring at me. And already it's like, my God, you know, how long do I have to sit there and look at him when I could be, blasting somebody else? I don't know. And happy belated birthday, Mr. Adamo. All righty, good. Okay, I didn't misspell any words or anything like that, did I? Owen, our side needs to quit putting rhinos back in office. Yes, sir.
The problem was for a while we didn't know who the rhinos are, but we're now starting to find that out.
The problem is the rhinos, they extract a certain amount of loyalty amongst the people that are believers, and maybe that should stop. I don't see Hawley sucking up to rhinos, but obviously maybe Ted Cruz did a little bit, of all things. So, and where do people get off saying, well, that election wasn't fixed? How do you know? Where's your proof that it got fixed? Because Mike Pence endorsed it?
So
I don't understand it.
There are still liberals that say Trump never got elected in 2016, and there's some that still say that Bush never beat Gore in 2000. Yet we have actual proof that there was anomalies and different things going on, but we can't doubt the election, but they sure can. I don't think so.
Well, I can doubt the election, and I say so on social media, and they haven't canned me yet. And they may, but I'll figure out something else.
We've already been threatened that we're going to get kicked off Facebook from Yahoo earlier.
Yeah. So here we are, and we say what we think. despite what some schmucks think.
Now, did you want to get those clips in about the Rams and stuff before we have Jeff Zink?
Let's do it. Yeah, hit it.
So this will be a lot of fun. Everybody enjoying this. The Rams are in the Super Bowl, but don't forget this was the St. Louis Rams story. I just want to point that out.
The only thing missing was a quarterback, and the Rams head coach would stop at nothing to get his man.
Trent Green is the guy because he'd already been with Mike Martz at Washington. We got to get him signed.
I grew up in St. Louis, so there's a lot of things drawing me back during the free agency period that year. And so we end up going to this dinner downtown, and he's late.
On my drive over there, I ran a red light and got run into and flipped my car over upside down.
He crawls out the passenger side window, gets out, checks with the lady that had hit him. Finally, the lady says to him, "What are we going to do about this quarterback situation? We're not going to have Tony Banks again, are we?" And that's when it dawns on him that he's supposed to be at this dinner with me.
Trent's sitting there, and he looks, and I got flakes of glass stuck in the skin of my hand. Honest to God, truth.
I've got to play for this guy. I go, this guy just flipped his car on the way to dinner, and he walked down here to have dinner with us. I said, he really wants us to be here.
We got him signed, and not because I wrecked my car, damn near killed somebody, but because he was so critical. This guy was the answer, and we're going to really be a good football team.
Phenomenal. Great touch on the ball, the anticipation. You know, if Mike was off talking or teaching, he can call a play because he knew the playbook so well. There was just so much confidence with Trent. We had our quarterback.
Trent Green going deep. He's got a man touchdown. And a great throw from Green.
It was the first time within my 5 years with the Rams that we were ahead of the defense. Once we got into a preseason game, things were clicking, and I was excited.
Trent Green comes in here, the real hope for this offense. He puts the Rams in the place to win. Green drops a great connection to number 18.
Now we got Trent Green down. We've got Trent Green down in the middle of the field.
Kurt Warner now warming up on the sideline. Green was a perfect 11 of 11 so far in this ball game with the touchdown pass. Kurt Warner, a capable backup, but certainly not where Trent Green is.
You get emotional, you know, it hurts. But that's what this business is all about. We will rally around Kurt Warner, and we'll play good football.
We weren't smarter than anybody else. We weren't any better coaches than anybody else. We just weren't afraid to try new things, basically, is what it comes down to.
You throw conventional rules out the window when you're trying to defend St. Louis because they'll throw at any time. There's no normalcy to what they do.
You better be able to adjust. You better be able to change things on the fly, because if not, it's going to be a long day.
They're moving a lot. They're shifting a lot.
Well, you change the strength of the offense 2 or 3 times in a shift, and half the time they can't get lined up right.
Now, I know I've got Jeff Zink, I think, although he's disappeared now. Okay, I don't know what's going on with him. But let me just say this. There was a golf tournament right after this game in St. Louis. And I was in it, Whitey Herzog. There was a bunch of St. Louis McDonald's owner-operators. I think it was probably a fundraiser for Ronald McDonald Houses. And after the tournament, I went to my car by myself, changed my shoes, and as I was changing my shoes, a guy approaches me. It was Dick Vermeil. And I don't know him. I mean, I know him from, watching sports. But he comes over to me specifically, nobody else around, and starts talking about Trent Green. And there are tears in his eyes. And he's telling me like I'm an old friend. I don't know what I'm going to do. I got this other guy, Warner, and, the guy's, he's old, and he was putting groceries on shelves just a year ago, and nobody wanted him. And I'm thinking, why is he telling me this first? And secondly, well, if that's who you got, then go with him. And so I said so. Well, that's who you got, Coach. You're going to have to do the best you can with him. Now, at that point, I think that he's thinking about maybe getting somebody else signed up. Somebody that maybe was on the list and maybe got hurt or whatever, or was better. He wasn't in on Kurt Warner. I could see that. So I stood up for Kurt Warner and said, give him a chance, Coach. And look how that turned out. Now, from that, I am now demanding, not asking, but demanding, I get a Super Bowl ring right next to my wedding ring, right here. I want a ring. No, that's not the right. No, you're not looking at the right finger. Oh, wow. No, this is my left finger. It's not the finger you're thinking about, okay? See, I got one there and I got one here. Not the other
I'm
finger.
glad you explained that because it looked like you were flipping everybody the bird.
I know. Jeff Zink is probably over there thinking I'm flipping him off. But no, doesn't that make a good case for me getting? And I mean, the guy was almost in tears. And I guess that's just the way he is.
He is. He's very emotional. And I saw that movie they made about Kurt Warner and his story came out earlier. I saw that when it came out in theaters. And Dick Vermeil talked about the guy playing him was Dennis Quaid. And he says, as soon as Trent Green got hurt, they were like, should we go trade for somebody, pick somebody up? What are we going to do? And then they decided.
Then he talked to me.
We're going to go ahead and give this guy a chance.
And I said, stick with what you got. Okay? And result? Super Bowl victory.
For the St. Louis Rams.
For the St. Louis Rams.
Not the L.A. Rams.
Yes. And I deserve this. I was a fan. What are you laughing at?
I don't think that's how
I think you're mocking me.
I don't think that's how they award Super Bowl rings here.
I think Jeff Zink is enjoying this a little bit too much. I think we ought to get him on air. Why don't you go and hit his... What are you laughing at? It's the truth. I swear to God. You were a football player. You were a football player, right?
I was. I played
broke your
college
neck.
football at Panhandle State University.
Yeah.
And Texas Tech University.
So why are you in a car? And what are you doing in the picture? I would have gotten you on earlier had I known, but you're in a car now. What did you get kicked out?
No, because I'm at the GOP office.
Yeah.
I've got a meeting. I had a meeting at 9. The meeting's going a little bit over. And it was so loud there that I had to get in my car so that I could hear you and also have this interview and stuff. So I'm literally outside the GOP office, and then I've got to go back in and talk. But it's been really interesting. I've been testifying this week before the Arizona State Senate.
Yeah.
We have 12 bills that we needed to get passed. And I testified as an expert witness in regards to the Arizona audit and what we found. And what's really interesting is that in the House, Mark Fincham actually put a bill on the floor at HCR 2033. And the thing is that what that's going to do is we're trying to completely not necessarily decertify. What people need to understand is that it's been certified, it's lawfully certified, whether it was legal or not. And so we can't decertify, but we can, once we've proven that a crime has been committed in with our elections, that we can nullify it. So it's the same thing. It's word semantics. It's and it's one that I want to be correct so that people go, oh, come back to me, and they go, oh, you said that it was supposed to be decertified and it was nullified, and I'm trying to clear that up. So no, you can't decertify it, but you can nullify it. And here's one of the things that take place. So in the case of Maricopa, Pima and Yuma counties, the facts, okay? This is not speculation. This is not, we didn't look at anything. We didn't investigate it. We had investigators investigate this. The facts that there was evidence showing illegal acts occurred, whether by intent or omission, it does not matter. The fact that it happened, and it doesn't matter how it happened, we need to understand that it occurred. The margin of error exceeds the margin of victory. So before the election, there was just over 10,000. By the time we got finished with there, we added another 1,200. And again, I go back to the same thing. If I give you, Dave, $1,000 and 400 of it is monopoly money, you take it to the bank and you deposit it. How much money do you actually have in that deposit?
Well, you know what?
So
we're talking about an election here. All right. So in your analogy, if those 600 votes or $600 was still more or less, you got to have that more or less than the guy with the other monies or the other votes. So how do you verify unverifiable ballots? I don't know.
Who was it that they voted for?
Well,
where did they come from?
You unverify them. You unverify them because they're not verifiable.
That's right. So the chain of custody. So one of the things that we've made very clearly. So let me finish this thought that we have. If a nation
go ahead
governed by monarchy, and so the rule of law says that as we so often espouse, then violations of the law must have consequences. See, the thing is that every election has consequences. Stolen elections have dire consequences, and we are now living with the corruption and the high prices and everything that's going on with this administration, and we need to look at it. So within regards of the 2020 election, it is irredeemably compromised, and it is impossible to name a clear winner in this election in Arizona. So that's what what Mark Fincham put on the floor in the House. Now we have 12 bills on the Senate side, in which I testified with, which were election equipment. Okay, we're trying to get rid of all election equipment so that we don't have Dominion machines, Smartmatic machines. We don't have anything. It's going to be hand count and hand tabulation, which is what we should have.
What about mail-in ballots?
Okay, so our mail-in ballots. I'm going through my list here real quick. We had early ballots measures that we also had, which is to kill the mail-in ballots. We're trying to stop those, and only the people that are elderly and or have some type of disability, they can still get that, but they have to prove that there is ability that enables them to go to the polls. And we've also got another bill that we put on there to have an election day only, so one day, and then also make it a holiday. And one of the things, it's really amusing how the Democrats kept coming out and they're saying, well, if we have a holiday, we don't have anybody that can work that because everybody will be off. And it's like, okay, it is amazing how acerebral they are, because if you have a holiday, you have everybody that would be willing to volunteer. You would have more people at the polls that could handle stuff and be observers and would work. So their arguments of what they brought were really interesting. But the thing is that we also have our early voting system. If we do have an early voting, they are to be tabularized. The person has to show an ID. What a novel idea. That was on Monday that we testified on behalf of voter ID, that you actually have to show your driver's license.
Was there objection to that?
You cannot use.
Was there objection to showing an ID?
It goes down party lines.
Yeah.
Yes. It went down party lines. Four Republicans voted yay. 3 Democrats voted nay. The resolutions all passed. They're now going to the floor. Now, here's where it's going to get really dicey, because we may not necessarily have the votes in the Senate, while the Democrats do not have the House or the Senate here in Arizona. We have a lot of rhinos that jumped ship and have killed bills. And so everybody's taking a look at that and making sure what's going on is that we need to make sure and watch the votes very closely to make sure that they do not vote with the Democrats, that they need to be held accountable and stuff. And so that's part of the problem that we're seeing.
What happened to Baranovich investigation of rhinos who were bought off?
Well, that would be great, but right now we're trying to get him just to do something on the evidence that we have already presented him with, not only Maricopa County, and a lot of people didn't even realize that we also did an audit on Pima County and Yuma County, and we found that so here's another fact that took place in both Pima and Yuma. We have precincts that had over 100% turnout in that precinct. I think there was something that went awry there, and we've also verified that dead people did vote.
Okay, I'm talking to. I didn't really properly introduce you because we got right into it because of my efforts to get a Super Bowl ring, which I think I absolutely am sure I deserve, because I'm the guy that made sure that Dick Vermeil did not go out and get another quarterback, that he stuck with Kurt Warner, and that's what I told him. And so, what do I get? Well, I haven't gotten anything. Anyways, this gentleman is Jeff Zink, and he's running for Congress. He ran the Arizona audit. He's a kinesiologist, ordained pastor. He's an eyewitness to not only the Arizona audit, but to 1-6. And we're holding up his T-shirt here, at least, yes. And I've got it on the inside. No, I don't. I'm not wearing it today. So, ordained pastor, and he's an eyewitness to the 1-6 and a candidate for Congress in Maricopa County. Now he's testifying before the Arizona House. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Keep going, because now people know who the hell you are.
Well, what was interesting is that yesterday we had a bill for drive-up voting. And, the thing is that the Democrats say that you should be able to drive up and drop off your ballots, which we also found that there were issues and problems with drop boxes, because we have video evidence of people stuffing the ballot boxes and stuff. And so they were, saying that there was no rampant fraud, there was nothing nefarious that took place and everything else. So here's what I said when I was talking about drive-up voting. I said, witnessing where drop box ballots were not even folded. So you need to understand that we had precincts where we had allocated that they were ballots that had been dropped off in these drop boxes. They need to be folded. They need to be put in an envelope. We opened up boxes that had no folds in them. Where did they come from? Checks and balances need to be in place. If you vote against this bill, it is then what you are doing is you're more part of the problem than part of the solution. I, as an expert in the Arizona audit, also went to Texas, worked with Greg Abbott, and helped them to start a 4-county full forensic audit there in Texas. I also went to Georgia and helped with Garland Farvarito in trying to get an audit there, and also worked with Doug Mastroeni in Pennsylvania in order to try to help get an audit there. The thing is that while the Democrats continually and the mainstream media state that there is no fraud, and it's sure not rampant fraud, I have, in every state that I've visited, in everything that I have seen firsthand, there is not only fraud that is taking place in all 4 of these states, but it's also rampant across the United States in every state that we have started looking at. And so I got down and of course, like I said, it went through party lines. 4 Republicans, 3 Democrats. It was all 4 yays and 3 nays, but it still got out of committee, and now it's going to the floor. The other thing is that which was really interesting, I got to testify on the next bill, which was SB 1298, which is the government mask mandates. And one of the Democrats stated, well, you're a witness to the Arizona audit. How can you testify in regards to that? And I said, well, I have 35 years in sports medicine, and I said my medical background makes me a person that I can tell you exactly what happened. So I actually told them what it takes to be in the OR for surgery, and then turned around and said, we have increased cases in children with infantile, which is a highly contagious disease that can be passed on and back and forth between each other. And heaven forbid that someone would and think about this, children who all of a sudden take off their mask or whatever and come back, or somebody else, and they switch masks, which kids are bound.
Well, are you asserting that they caught the infantile from wearing the masks?
And now you have a transference.
Okay.
Well, it is. And the reason why is because children constantly go to their face. And the breathing with moisture, and the mask only are good for about an hour. You're expecting children to wear masks in the schools for almost 8 hours.
Let's cover another issue. Mark Branovich issued an opinion, a legal one, that Arizona was a victim of an invasion at their border. This gives them the ability to protect their own border without the federal government doing anything. And Governor Ducey does not agree. Your thoughts?
Well, the thing is that Branovich, who's running for Senate, is doing things that are helpful
to him.
I wish it would have more teeth. The thing is that the border is a crisis, and it's from Texas to California. It is a crisis all the way through. We have children and women that are being raped on a regular basis coming up to the border. Once they cross over, many of them are being sex trafficked. We have a Super Bowl that is about to happen on Sunday. Here's the one thing that I will tell you about the Super Bowl. It is the number one event for sex trafficking.
Really?
The number one in the world. Everything that is around there, they have already and statistics has already come out and shown that there are many women are forced to go there, and so that's something that we need to start looking at a little bit closer. So I'm very concerned. I'm happy that he's trying to introduce this. We need to go a little bit further. The states have the right to protect their borders, and that's a start. It's a good start. We need to go further. We need to actually start having the Senate and the House start passing where the revenue is now going back to the wall, and we start building the wall. I hope that all the rest of the states, I know Texas is also doing that now.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk a little bit about any events. Give me an update on January 6th scam.
Okay, so January 6th, my son's, it amazes me. My son's stay has been pushed off again. It won't come back up again until March, like mid-March. It is a farce to begin with, and the thing is that what we've now found out is that we have more evidence that our federal government, my son is continually this whole time, instead of actually having the charges dropped. And then also one of the things is I'm very sad that our congressmen haven't actually started going into the prisons and pulling them out for things like 9 or 10 months now that they haven't had access to an attorney. They're being denied family visits so that they can check on them to see what's going on. The fact of what kind of conditions are being placed in there and stuff. So it was a peaceful protest.
Okay, we're having a lot of technical difficulties with this. Jeff, I'm probably going to have to end it because we can't hear you like a good portion of the time. And we'll do it again under better circumstances, I hope. Now, maybe if you can speak, is he out? Yeah,
we lost connection, yeah.
All right. Well, that's fine. If you want to find him, he's on DaveWeinbaum.net, or you go to his JeffZinkForCongress.com, and you can contribute. I have contributed some money to him, and he is a good guy, and I'm just not sure where any of this is going to go. You know, everything seems to be compromised, but we're still making progress here. I mean, the pandemic is over. We know it's a fraud. Chris Adamo, let's read some of these before we go off. Sorry we lost Senator Jeff Zink, a great patriot with a great message. Thank you, Chris Adamo. Appreciate that. And Owen, laugh out loud. You can always go to Spotify. Yeah, 100 million. Well, I'll settle for 10 million. What the hell?
That's a discount, come on.
I think that's a hell of a discount. 90% off? Come on. Is that 90%? No.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not. It's not even 90% off. Anyways, we have about, 7 minutes? So you want to call the show? 573 578-2700. I don't know if I should have stayed with them longer or not, but I think it was pretty obvious.
We did what we could there.
Yeah, I think it was pretty obvious. We did what we could, and we compromised. Thank you, honey. You never defend me. That's unusual. But I would have liked to ask him more questions about. There's a Congressman, Representative Nels from Texas, who claims that the Capitol Police dressed as construction workers and broke into his office and took illegal photos and harassed his staff. Nels has been outspoken. He may even be on the committee, Nels, and he's been outspoken about Pelosi's investigation sham and called out Capitol Police as murderers of Ashley Babbitt. So, that would have been good to hear his comments. But we'll get him back on, and we just have to have him say in front of the Senate or the House if he's testifying, excuse me, we need to take a break here because I have to go on the Dave Weinbaum show. And you have to do it in an area that we can hear you. All right?
Well,
is that asking for too much?
It definitely helps.
I mean, come on.
Now, do you want to play the last two clips of the Rams story where Kurt Warner jumps in?
Just remember, we'll go ahead and play those. But remember, when Dick Vermeil came and saw me, I was the one that stood up for Warner. I think before I said anything, he was going to go out and find somebody. That in itself, what are the odds are he would have gotten somebody else to do what Kurt Warner did?
It was looking very possible, yeah.
Huh? He could have got Rick Henderson. Oh, God. Wow, are you going to play the saxophone while you're being a quarterback?
Halftime.
Yeah, halftime, right. Yeah, you probably wear a little skirt, too, wouldn't you? Be a cheerleader. Oh, that's wrong. Oh, yeah, that's wrong. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Anyways, give us another. JP can't stop laughing at that one. I don't know. Your imagination is running away with you.
Oh, no, it's just funny here. Yeah.
All right. All right. Go ahead and play the other clips, for God's sakes. Get us out of there.
But before the start of the 1999 season, his main concern was his quarterback, an unknown and undrafted 28-year-old named Kurt Warner.
As a player, you always feel like there's something special inside of you. And my biggest quest was to get somebody else to think that same thing.
We come out that first week, it was against Baltimore Ravens, and it was on.
In Warner's first start, he threw for 3 touchdowns and over 300 yards.
Warner dumps it in the end zone. Touchdown, Rams! Throws the end zone. Touchdown, Rams! Torrey Holt, the rookie!
I'm thinking okay, this is, you know what I mean? I can get used to this,
Only a few years removed from being a stalker at a grocery store, Kurt Warner was now bagging wins for the Rams. Warner became the first player in NFL history to throw 3 touchdown passes in each of his first 3 starts.
Last play of the game.
McNair drops, throws right side for Dyson. He dives for the end zone.
Didn't make it. Time runs out. That's it. We won it.
He came up 1 yard short.
Once I saw the wave from the sideline go to the field, I was like, it's over.
St. Louis, the gateway to the West, is now the gateway to the best football team in the world.
I could close my eyes and feel the confetti fall and standing up there with guys that, 4 or 5 months ago, we were misfits. We had no idea what we were going to be.
Hey, Kevin! You're a world champion, buddy. You're a world champion.
Unbelievable feeling. I get emotional. Excuse me. I get emotional thinking about it right now.
Congratulations. Man, what a year. Love you, Coach. I love you, too.
I wonder if he would remember that. But it's the absolute truth. I told him to stick with what he had. Now, he didn't mention anything about looking at other quarterbacks, but I thought it sounded like that's where he was going, And I'm thinking, okay, this guy sort of, he knows the system. He's been with him for a little bit. Why would you go out and get somebody new? You have to relearn the system. You probably get somebody who wouldn't be able to be really involved in the system until halfway through the season. Now you've blown another season. To me, you got to get the guy, keep him. He knows the system, and whatever happens, happens. Doesn't that sound like I should be getting a Super Bowl ring? Honey, what size ring finger do I have? You want to make another announcement, please?
I just wanted to say we want to be thankful for prayers for Joe Dalton's granddaughter who was in a bad traffic accident yesterday. She apparently is okay, but she is 6 months old.
What happened to the other people involved? Were they okay?
I think so.
Yeah, good.
So.
Yeah, we all prayed for that.
Very
cute
happy.
Little baby.
Mm-hmm.
Faith Ann. And
lots of great people stopped to help them.
Yes.
So.
Great. Okay. Well, we're coming to an end. It was a little rocky there for a while with Jeff. He apologized for the connection, so hopefully he'll heed me next time and tell the Senate that, hey, I've got an important call to make, and you just wait for me to come back, and I'll come back and testify. I mean, what the hell? This is the Dave Weinbaum show, isn't it? All right. Well, we're not Joe Rogan, but then again,
no, we're starting to get trolled now. So
he's not us. So what the hell? Anyways, we're going to come back again next week for another edition of the Dave Weinbaum Show. So we're all waving goodbye. We want you guys to have a great weekend, and